That's Bad Ashley out of Queens, New York. It's a band that...
It sounds like a little kid singing punk rock.
Yeah, it's like punk rock fusion, underage punk rock.
It actually sounds like Darren. It sounds like Darren's son. Doesn't your son sing on your podcast?
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. It does kind of have that same tone.
Well,
yeah.
Welcome to another episode, and this is number 18. Happy St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
wearing green today, St. Patrick's Day.
I got Redban over there working the wires and the craft services and doing it all. Thank you, Redban.
Shout out to Redban.
Yeah. We got Darren Carter sitting in with us again.
Thank you, sir. Darren Carter.
We got a real special guest that I can't wait to divulge into all the things.
Thank you, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
John, tell us your name.
Diresta, D-I-R-E-S-T-A. Diresta, like the rest of the story, is the easiest way.
The rest of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll help me for sure.
That's actually the name of my podcast. I have a podcast called The Rest of the Story. It was the easiest thing, that was the easiest name I can come up with.
Comedian, actor, voiceover, you name it, and he's got quite a backstory that I can't wait to get. And he's from back east as well.
Long Island, bro.
And Darren Carter, you want to tell us about how you're doing today?
Yeah, man, I'm doing great. Thank you. Just got back from the road. The tour ended, or I didn't end the tour. The tour
El
ended on me.
Paso?
Yeah, El Paso.
How did it go?
It was great, man. It was nice to. Well, it's kind of a shell shock when you come back home and you see like wow, the
big Irish community there in El Paso.
Oh,
huh?
El Paso.
Yeah.
All the Irishmen are out there. Yeah. Hey, but I want to thank Brian for doing my podcast called Pocket Party. It went up an hour ago, so check out a one-on-one with Brian Holtzman on the Pocket Party podcast. It was really nice to have you on there. You're in kind of a mood that night, and it was great to hear
I wasn't
that.
in a great mood. I didn't know if you wanted to present that, but I want to thank you guys for taking the chance. Everybody's supposed to be quarantined out here.
But
and,
this is good. They said 10 people.
You guys came out, and
There was very little traffic on the way here.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little about the lines for guns right outside.
Unbelievable.
2 gun
That's
stores.
a little eerie.
Three.
There's 3.
Three
We
gun
saw,
stores on the way here. Again, I never saw, we've all done the road and you see a gun store in Austin, Texas or anywhere, but I never realized there was 3 right in a row within 1 mile and a line out the door.
Usually you see a line out the door for like a donut shop or like, Porto's Bakery or the new drink from Starbucks or the new iPhone. It was a little weird, eerie to see like, oh, gun store.
guns
and then
and
the
toilet
second
paper.
one. Yeah. And then the third one, I'm like, wow, this is a little, yeah.
So,
And we saw a line out to a supermarket.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No,
Was that? Yeah, that was like a little supermarket on the right.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? They put barbecue out at night.
Every weekend.
That's what that
Yeah.
was.
Oh, look at that.
Guns. What do you got in the back?
Yeah.
it's a hamburger. I like to bring a little snack
thank
for the
you.
guests. in
Oh,
case
that's cool.
That's
you
awesome.
get hungry, and then
Thank you.
I don't think anything could be more important than giving you each one of these.
Whoa.
Whoa, dollar bill, y'all. Whoa.
I could use this.
spender.
Toilet
All right.
paper.
Yeah, score.
Boy.
Score.
Wow, this is
Somebody did their homework.
Nice.
This ain't, watch this. This ain't no pocket party.
Pocket party.
It's the least I can do.
Yeah,
you
it
guys
is.
come out, and nobody's coughing, so I think we're safe.
You're like
And,
Corona Claus.
I haven't seen any Asians around, so I think we're okay.
Let me shut that off. That's my wife. She's out in the car.
With the windows down, I hope.
Yeah.
The windows cracked, I hope.
I tell everyone she's out in the car no matter where I am, and everyone believes it. It's hysterical.
Hey, you got to tell them how big of a fan you are of Twisted Sister.
Yeah, I'm a huge Twisted
Oh,
Sister
wow,
fan.
this is
Yeah.
great.
Are
Because
you too?
My mother, God bless her, she went to meet the king, but while she was alive, she was in a painting class on Long Island with a woman who was the son of Twisted Sister.
D. Schneider's son, maybe?
Can you believe that?
That's awesome.
I'm a huge Twisted Sister fan. Now, you and I are about the same age, no?
Right.
But now, you didn't go-
61?
Oh, I'm 64. Did you go to see Twisted Sister growing up in Long Island, or wasn't your thing?
No, I was out to lunch.
Oh, okay.
I was.
No, I was
I was
in.
one of those lost boys,
in
lost
seven-
child. The youngest of 7. Oh, another one. What
Yeah.
are we gonna do with this
Yeah.
now?
They didn't even know you were coming. No, it's 79, 80, 81, 82. It's what we did. We ate mescaline, we ate Quaaludes, we drank liquor, we went to see Twisted Sister. In Rockaway Beach, it Speaks. I don't know if you remember Speaks. I think you joined the military, right? So you might have missed a lot of these places.
I was in Okinawa.
Okay, yeah. So was my brother Joey. You might know Joey Diresta. He joined the Marines in 79, 80.
Where was he stationed?
Okinawa. Is that the Philippines?
Japan, right?
Japan.
Oh, no, he was in the Philippines. What's the one in Philippines?
Clark, Subic Bay.
It might have been Manila.
Clark Air Force Base.
And then he was in El Toro in Southern California.
Right.
What was Quaaludes like? I've always wanted to try that.
Quaaludes are like, the way I equate it with, I grew up in the 5 towns, which if you know, it's, everybody, a lot of Quaalude people, a lot of Quaalude dealers. It's like drinking.
There he is.
Yeah, there we go. What do you want to do with your life?
Straight.
I want to mock.
Tuck in that shirt. Adjust that belt buckle.
That's
tie those
Niedermeyer. You guys
shoes.
know that.
Right.
Twisted Sister.
There you go.
What is that?
I want to mock.
Smile off your face. Do you understand? What is that? A Twisted Sister pin on your uniform?
Yeah, baby.
What kind of a man?
I've been in SMF since 1979. You guys know what SMF is?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to curse?
Yes, it's okay.
It's a sick motherfucking friend of Twisted Sister. I've been in SMF since 1979.
You know, I miss those times. Remember when MTV actually showed the videos? Like
Yeah,
this?
right.
It
Well,
was great.
well, I was into them before that. So watch this. A lot of people think when you say you're a Twisted Sister fan, you're like a maggot because they all know those 2 videos that were overplayed.
Right.
When you used to go see Twisted Sister in a little tiny nightclub, and again, if you were under the influence, it helped, and the music was heavy. It went through you. Like, you didn't just go see Twisted Sister, you experienced it. It was awesome. And then watch this. They would play till 4 in the morning. Then we'd go to White Castles in Limbrook till 6 a.m. Then we would go garage sailing as an early bird, jacked up on Coke, Quaaludes, and mescaline. Literally go garage sailing as they were opening up. And you go to bed at 10 in the morning. We used to go to a place called The Spot that opened at 9 a.m. It was a bar in a building like this with no windows. So you had no idea kind of what time it was.
Like a casino.
Yeah, but even more legit. I know casinos, they say they have no windows. You're in... Yeah, there you go. It looks like my wife, Fran.
All
She's out in the car.
She's out in the car.
What we do here is we just do a few items of interest. You can chime in, both of you, and
Okay.
Redban as well, anytime you want.
Okay.
And then when I'm done with the items of interest, then I'm gonna then I want to talk to you.
Okay,
in more
I'll be
depth,
here.
But
And I'm not going to be rude, but I'm just going to text my wife. Just got out of work.
oh
so
no,
while
you're free to do anything you
Okay.
want on this podcast. There
Okay,
are no
'cause-
rules. Yeah, I don't.
No, she gets off at 2:00.
Isn't that right, Darren?
Right.
Darren, isn't that right, Darren?
That's right. Yes, sir.
She gets off from work. She's a career woman. She works at Goodwill in Van Nuys.
I thought she was back east. Didn't we? Talk?
No. My wife's in North Hollywood. 3 kids. We moved here 22 years ago. I brought all 4 of them. I'm stuck with them.
The first time I met John was I knew him from social media and I knew of him, but first time I met you was at the Laugh Factory Christmas party.
Yeah.
So
My
that
wife
was
was out
fun.
in the car. So I'm going to text her.
With the windows cracked.
Watch this. If I don't answer in 15 minutes, she's going to call every hospital. She's one of those wives. Yeah.
No, you go right ahead.
Okay, you got it. Just why I don't want to be rude, like I'm too
no,
cool
no,
for school.
it's impossible to be
Okay.
rude on this podcast.
Okay, you got it.
All right, so let's start with the items of interest. Everybody at home is quarantined, and nobody's working, and everybody's. I guess this is a good time just to do all the things that you never had a chance to do. I guess
Like this podcast.
like this podcast, whatever it is that let me put my glasses on. That's gonna help. All right, let's start with the items of interest for 16 March. Here we go.
March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, episode
Happy St. Patty's Day.
16.
I told this joke, I think, once before. You know, John, what's the most important invention in mankind?
Beer.
No, actually, it was the wheelbarrow because it enabled the Irishman to walk up on his hind legs. So happy St. Patty's Day.
How do the Irish know when to quit drinking?
They don't.
Daylight.
Daylight.
All right, here we go. A retired British teacher has been named the oldest man in the world at the age of 111. Bob Weddington took the title when its previous holder died last month in Japan. Isn't that kind of nutty to win the award? Somebody has to die.
Yeah, that's old. I'm surprised his genitals haven't fallen off.
The secret to his longevity, he said, had been to avoid dying. Born in northern England in 1908, Wilmington taught English in Taiwan and decoded Japanese military communications during World War II. A few years ago, he asked to stop receiving birthday cards from Queen Elizabeth. The monarch sends cards to all British centenarians because he didn't want a huge collection in his apartment.
Ooh, cocky. I like that.
Yeah.
There he is. Oh, that's the guy who passed away.
Whoa,
Yeah,
look
that's
at that. No teeth. I'm interested.
That's a Japanese guy. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Great blowjob.
I love you long time.
He's
$5.
he's eating soft food in heaven. That's for
Fucking
sure.
A. That looks like my wife.
Where is your wife?
Oh, she's out in the car.
When architect Brian Boney was sent to measure up a bankrupt portrait studio for a leasing agent, he was horrified to discover undelivered photos stacked on the floor ready to be thrown out. Horrified. Why would that be so horrified?
Well, no.
I don't remember any time being horrified about anything.
Yeah.
That's I think that's an
But you-
embellishment.
Yeah.
Why would he be so horrified? If it was a dead body, that might be horrifying. I mean, but not
Some undeveloped photos.
You know, what is wrong with this guy? Knowing the portraits meant a lot to the people in them, he put them in a minivan, and the next day he began calling the phone numbers that were listed on some of the portraits and posting messages online about his find. At least 63 people have since been reunited with their photos. Lisa O'Connor, who got back portraits of her two granddaughters, said, Boney's kindness is an example of how we all should be.
Nice.
So they didn't explain what the photos were there for? Or is it like an old photographer or something?
And they don't even explain where it is that it took place.
Did the first? I missed something in the
Very
first.
poorly written.
What about the first paragraph?
Item of
Did
interest.
it say like how long? Like had they been in there for like 20 years or something? Or
when an architecture Brian so-and-so was sent to measure up a bankrupt portrait studio for a leasing agent.
oh,
It doesn't say where it was. It doesn't say this is like somebody who shouldn't be in the journalism business. Probably.
yeah. The whole word horrified was a good tip too, right?
Horrified.
Was horrified to find photos.
And this is an idiot over here. University of Akron student has made good on his promise he made to his sister 5 years ago by bringing a llama to her wedding.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't think the sister was happy.
During a 2015 road trip, then 16-year-old Meldon Weinstein, or we'll just call him Idiot Boy for now, grew irked by Riviera's constant chatter about her dream wedding. To tease her, he pledged to bring a llama to the ceremony.
A lot of drama.
And I think she was, a lot of drama with the llama.
for the mama.
Yeah, and I think she was, when I read it at least, she was kind of pissed off that the llama upstaged the wedding.
Exactly. There he is. There he is.
Yeah, I could see that.
They put him in a suit. It cost him $400 to rent the animal, and then he had to get the tuxedo. That hadn't been cheap. You know, who needs a brother that's such a jackass, you know?
Watch this. I'll tell you quickly, I'm in a movie with Dane Cook. I don't like to drop names. Michael Caine told me it was rude. I'm in a Dane Cook movie, and it was 8 comedians about 15 years ago, and he asked us all to dress up for the premiere, quote unquote. We had to wear suits. So I showed up with a midget in the same suit as me.
Really?
And Dane Cook was not happy. It was my version of a llama.
Oh, you did it on purpose?
I did it on purpose. Well, he's a friend of mine.
Like
I did it.
you guys, like, it was obvious that it was intended to, like...
No, I didn't mean to usurp his power,
but
it was a funny thing that he took the wrong way.
It's his
What
red
did,
carpet.
what did he think? Why did he take that the wrong way?
He didn't say it he didn't say outright, but I kind of saw the look on his face that, like, the midget had more cachet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was funnier.
He's so cute.
Yeah. That's all.
Mini-me, that kind of thing.
Yeah, because the guy looked like me, except he was 2.5 feet tall and weighed 150 pounds. He looked like a meatball.
And I think it's your red carpet appearance. You're allowed to do whatever you want.
I called him my half brother. And watch this. It took he was gay, and it took years for him to come out of the cabinet. Hey-oh! Watch out! Yeah.
Went over my head.
I'm not a hack.
In Italy, where for 3 hours red wine flowed from domestic faucets following a malfunction at a local winery at a time where we have very little to smile about. I'm glad we brought some levity to others, said Deputy Mayor Giorgio Menasini, whose town is near the epicenter of Italy's controversy outbreak. Yeah, they're having some trouble over there in Italy, that's for sure. They got a lot of cases over there.
That's kind of cool, though. They're playing instruments outside, people quarantined.
Yeah, I saw that too.
San
Well, you guys
Francisco's
are
like
hip.
that now too. They're quarantined. You can't leave the house. They're on curfew. You're not allowed to leave the house.
You know what, man? Everyone that's quarantined in my on my block, I've been beatboxing outside their windows.
There you go.
And they don't really like it.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm out there just.
I have a friend in a nursing home, and they called me and said you can't come and see him. And I said I haven't. Don't worry. I haven't been over there for quite some time. It's okay.
I got asked. This is a true story. I got asked to do a set tonight in a dry cleaners.
Really?
Yeah. No money, but can you come make the people that work at the dry cleaners happy? And you know how I think there's no gatherings over 10 people now. That's the number.
Yeah.
I literally got offered a gig tonight. It's a far ride, March 20th. It's 8 people in a living room.
Friday.
Wow.
Friday.
It's March. You saw that one? Did you get it? It's like the guy puts out to all the comedians.
Oh, yeah?
March
I didn't see
20th,
that.
8 people
8 people. And
in a living room.
wow. And they're, I mean,
Tough business.
yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Would you do it? Would you do it? You wouldn't do it?
No, I don't do like that anymore. I used to do that stuff, but now like I barely like even doing a bar show. You know?
It's like weird, right? It'd be weird.
Yeah.
In Leahy, Pennsylvania, YMCA is installing a robot lifeguard at a swimming pool that uses artificial intelligence to detect if a swimmer is at risk of drowning.
Excuse me, those speedos are too tight.
The
Those
device
speedos are too
issues
tight.
high-pitched alert if it sees someone in trouble.
Are you having trouble swimming? Are you having trouble swimming?
Do the bartender for John.
All the drinks are measured. All the drinks are measured. All the drinks are measured.
Do they have a robot bartender somewhere now?
Yeah.
Robot lifeguard. Robot lifeguard. Excuse me, you're too big for that thong.
I was on a road gig and I saved a kid from drowning, and the mother never even thanked me. You guys ever do the gig in old Sacramento, Laughs Unlimited?
Oh, way back in the day.
Yeah, remember that one?
When it was not probably where it is now.
It was at the end of that dead end near the Sling Blade Bridge, where you get the free taffy.
Yeah. With the wood. With
And
the
you
wood,
stayed at the
planks.
you had the wooden planks, and you stayed at the Vagabond Inn. And I'd saved some, like a 12-year-old black kid was completely at the bottom of the pool. I yanked him
Really?
up, and the mother didn't even thank me.
Did they have one called the Birdcage in the mall in there?
Yeah,
No.
that was the other one. That was the better one. That was
No,
the
no.
better gig. That was Laughs
Who was
Unlimited,
the guy who
Birdcage.
owned it? The Greg
His name is
Edwards? or
Scott
something?
Edwards.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
he still in the business?
I don't think so.
He
so.
made his money.
Here's how much of a newbie Brian Holtzman was back in the day. The guy goes, "I want to give you a week," and he asked him about his. What did he ask about your monthly or your
He wanted
daily,
to see
your day
about
planner,
my day
your calendar?
planner, my schedule.
And you had no idea what he was talking
What
about.
you're talking about.
My calendar's just as good as your calendar.
I'm gonna write a book on how.
There's the
not-
robot lifeguard. Check this out.
Wow.
It's like kind of like you just drop it in and
Oh, it's like a drone sort of thing, but in the water, remote control.
that's kind of cool, and it makes a lot of sense. They can kind of control it.
Yeah.
A lot less dangerous than having people jump in the water.
real
That's
person.
cool.
Right.
Oh, that is cool.
Ah, technology is unbelievable.
Pamela Anderson has a nicer ass than that thing.
You'd rather have
Yeah, I wouldn't want to
Pamela.
watch I wouldn't want to watch a TV show about all robot lifeguards. You know, you're like,
Hasselhoff would still fuck them all.
yeah. He's drunk on the carpet. Give me a cheeseburger.
Yeah, you ever
and a
see that
robot.
video? I was going to say that. That's rough. That when he's eating a cheeseburger.
Oh, hey, look, we got cheeseburgers here.
I often feel like him in that video, though.
That's funny.
like late at night, like in bed, like why am I eating?
You're like,
Laying
I'm
on your side.
Hasselhoff, man.
An Australian newspaper, NT News, printed a special edition with 8 blank pages for use as toilet paper. Currently in short supply due coronavirus-inspired hoarding. This one's about Bill Clinton.
Did you know back in the day? Well, you probably did. They used to use corn cobs
Woof.
before toilet paper.
You ran that up and down your anus?
I believe so.
You just use your hand.
No, you're from New York, though. They probably didn't.
People have no problem washing their car, but for some reason they have a problem touching their anus. You just jump in the shower and you take your hand and you clean yourself. Water, if water can take peanut butter and jelly off your hands, it can take
other stuff.
poo. I mean,
Feces.
feces. I mean,
I just let it dry and let it fall off.
you can do that too. That's always an option in case you not have access to water.
My wife's funny. This week, about 3 times, she said, "Look, I don't care about bread. I don't care about steaks. I don't care about toilet paper. I want you to make sure that we hoard enough pot that if the pot store's closed, that we don't get fucked." And she said it for real. Like it was like she didn't care about anything.
Don't run out of the juice, man.
Yeah. She's out in the car.
You got to get you should get a weed sponsor for your podcast.
Oh, yeah, it's a good point.
It's a good one.
How many episodes are you up to now?
Oh, I'm only done a couple. I'm kind of still, what's the word? Like, I'm a bit of a newbie to it.
Me too.
Yeah.
This is only number 18.
No, but this is a very, very professional setup compared to what I have. You know what I mean? I'm basically speaking into my iPhone. I'm a mutt. I'm from Long Island. I'm not retarded.
President Bill Clinton explained in an upcoming documentary on Hillary Clinton that he began his affair with Monica, you-know-who, as a way to manage...
Oh, you know it, Brian. I sure did.
Manage his anxiety. This guy's got an answer for everything, doesn't he?
Oh, I had a lot of anxiety.
This guy, he's got an answer for everything. I didn't inhale.
I did not inhale.
I got a blowjob because of my
Anxiety. Big ups to my boo Hillary. That's my baby's mama. Hillary's got my back, and Monica's got my front.
Total bullshit artist, huh?
Yep. Monica Lewinsky has the same birthday as John Diresta. July 23rd.
Really?
Yeah. He looks bad.
Hey, what do they call that when you go to the airport and you have like those dogs for your anxiety? Like what's that
Motion
called?
support dog, or
That's right, my emotional support blowjob lady. Come with
I
me.
have a friend of mine that opens up for me. I don't know if you guys know Risky Betts. He's a cowboy and a comedian. He lives in Thousand Oaks. And he used to live in Arkansas, and his first wife was very attractive. And Bill Clinton did everything he could to get her into bed.
Wow.
And, yeah, he didn't, but she was one of his...
What kind of stories would you hear? Like he tried everything.
Well, they were at some kind of function, and he zoomed in on her, held her hand, and looked her in the eye and spoke to her for like an hour and 20 minutes without anybody, like nobody was allowed near her. And Risky, who was her husband at the time, kind of had to sit there and watch because he was like a quasi-governor. He had some juice at the time. But he was determined.
I find you absolutely you know what I mean? Just like into her for like an hour and a half.
And I have another friend of mine who was a New York City cop. He was Giuliani's bodyguard, so he met Clinton a few times. And he said that at the time, maybe not now, but Clinton had the it factor like you never saw before. He said he literally had that star
Women
power.
found him very attractive, back in the day. Back in probably even more in the 70s and 80s.
That's what I mean. Now he looks like he joined SAG when it was firm. Look at the bloodshot eyes.
Yeah. Oh. Looks like that Japanese guy that just died.
Yeah.
The oldest guy.
Yeah, that guy with no teeth.
Roger, play the saxophone while I get a BJ over here, will you?
The French government was forced to debunk an online rumor that snorting cocaine kills the coronavirus. Actually, said the French health ministry, cocaine is an addictive drug that causes serious side effects.
Oh, it won't kill the...
Not for the Rolling Stones what's his name?
Oh, yeah, what's the old guy on the Rolling Stones?
Yeah.
The guy.
Keith something?
Keith Richards.
He just quit smoking.
He's clean now, but when he snorted the cocaine, he had the best, purest pharmaceutical cocaine in the world. That's why he never had any problems. He wasn't cut like the street narcotics are cut. It's not the stuff that you're snorting, Darren. I know that's what you're doing in the bathroom.
I'll be right back.
Man, could you imagine, though, if it did cure coronavirus?
Oh, wow.
That'd be awesome.
Guns, toilet paper, and cocaine.
And Twisted Sister. They played Twisted Sister. No, they played it outside Noriega's house when they wanted to get him out. Do you guys remember that? Like in the 90s?
Guns N' Roses
Yeah.
and Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
Funny. Loud.
You didn't like metal music?
It's just they found that they thought that it was annoying.
Yeah.
In other words, the powers that be thought it was annoying.
Would that bring you out of the house?
Dude, I love heavy metal.
You'd stay in there longer.
I love I used to write stuff on MySpace that I love heavy metal so much it doesn't use my heavy metal doesn't use my debit card. Heavy metal doesn't second guess every move I make. You know what I mean? It's free. Oh. It's your friend.
You got any tattoos?
It's always there. Of course. I'm a white trash animal. Guess what I'm getting next? Black Sabbath. So I could walk around like this. I wanted to get the Twisted Sister logo, the TS. And my wife just shook her head and said, come on, grow up. You're 55 years old.
Wow. Transsexual.
Whoa.
That's what they might think the TS is for.
Watch out.
You know what I mean?
After
I'm Chaz Bono.
after Massey, Maissie. It's a dog's name, a wire-haired Frankfurter dog who won Best in Show at Britain's Crufts Dog Show. Crufts. Some of these words are just it's terrible. Paused during her victory lap to defecate on the show ring floor.
Nice.
It's something you dream of and you don't ever think will happen, said the owner, Kim McClaremont, referring to the first of those events.
I want to see this.
Here we go. Drum roll.
Oh, wow. I wonder if that ever happened to Miss America.
I want to rock.
I want to poop.
Yeah. I want to poop.
Best in show.
Yeah.
I think dogs have the greatest life on earth. They sleep all day and they just get up and poop and then lay back down.
They live better than most people in the world. You know?
You ain't kidding.
Oh, there he goes. He's going to poo. They're not supposed to poo. Oh, my God.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often.
They probably don't feed him for a couple of weeks before the thing.
Here we go.
Oh, is that what it is? They want him to be in best shape?
Uh-oh, there he goes. There he goes. Uh-oh.
Come on, Bobby.
Uh-oh, he just...
Oh, whoa. Ew, that's a good close-up.
Oh, man.
That's a solid one.
You're in a competition, buddy. Wow, fiber.
Why is she eating it?
He's pinching a loaf.
That's me in about an hour after our free Burger King.
Oh, my God. Well, that was an item of interest that I think everybody can enjoy. Oh, that might take the cake for today's item of interest. Ireland has canceled parades and other celebrities of St. Patrick's Day. It's the single biggest tourism draw because of fears of spreading the coronavirus. More than 500,000 people come to Dublin each March for the multi-day festivities. And the cancellation is expected to hit the city's economy hard. So far, Ireland has only a few dozen confirmed cases, and the focus is on slowing the rate of transmission. Prime Minister so-and-so and so-and-so announced the aid package of nearly $3.5 billion for health services. Business that suffer losses and workers in quarantine, coronavirus patients, including self-employed, will receive $340 a week in sick pay.
That's good.
I'll take that. They're talking $1,000 a month for us U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
And they'll just mail it to everybody's house?
I don't know how we're going to get it, but I'll take it. I could use it. I got a wife and 3 kids. I have nipples on my wallet.
How
They
old-
suck the
how
money
old
right
are-
out.
How old are the kids? What are the ages?
27, 28, 29. They all live at home.
You got to cut their hands off.
Then none of them pay
Cut
rent.
their hands out. You got to cut their hands.
Yeah, yeah.
I have nipples on my wallet.
Yeah, I got to have kids someday. I'm not jumping in the pool yet. You know?
No, dude. Adopt a dog that shits on your rug. It's easier.
You were going. You have 3 kids, 1 year apart, or exactly
11
right
months
after
apart.
each other. Yeah, what you were going crazy those 3 years.
Do you want to know? In the early 90s, my wife's coochie was like a midget clown car. And the third one fell out. And this is the real reason.
Hey, then you put
Brian,
a-
this true story. I was a cop with good benefits. A $10 co-payment covered the whole pregnancy. So we were like, for $10, it's cheaper than a dog or a fish tank or a cat. And you could teach it dirty words. Like I thought it was funny that my kids would do imitations of Mary Jo Buttafuoco when they're 2 years old. You remember her? Her mouth was jacked up. You know what she's doing now?
Boom, bada fuco.
What's she up to now?
She's giving blowjobs on the side. Watch out. 30 years later, that joke has legs. I don't know what we were thinking, dude. If I could turn the clock back, I would have gone gay at 19. And hold on, I see you flicking around. I don't know if you want to find it. Twisted Sister, North Stage Dinner Theater, June of 82. Instead of going to my prom with Doreen Zampaglione, I went to see Twisted Sister the night of my prom, and I just found it. The whole show's on the internet. So when they cut to the audience, there's 500 young white kids with mullets with their fist in the air, and one of them is me, but I don't know if I could find it. You know how as comedians we say we want to get rich enough to live in New York and L.A.?
Right.
I want to get rich enough to hire the FBI to find me in this video. Yeah, there we go, dude. One of those schmucks in the front row is me. There we go. I was there.
Is there a good point where they get a really good shot?
Yeah,
of the
you know, they
audience?
do turn around at the audience. I just don't know where. There we go. That was the night of my prom.
Wow.
Now watch this. I took my dad's Ford Granada there, and the next day he goes, "Were you smoking pot in my car?" I go, "No." He pulls out the lighter. Remember those old lighters that nuzzled in? And there was a huge butt of pot stuck to the end of it.
The valet must have done that, Dad.
Yeah, the valet at the Twisted Sister concert.
Dude, that's way cooler than my high school grad night. We went to Disneyland from Fresno. We drove down to Disneyland, all these school buses, and we had Bobby Brown, and the other performer was Wang Chung. Remember that? Everybody Wang Chung tonight. That was really lame.
That was, I don't know, dude.
Yours is good.
I went to see Twisted
Both of
Sister.
yours are way
News
better
from
than mine.
Rome.
What did you have, Brian?
There you go. Look, there you go. One of those schmucks is me. Me, my brother who was home from the Marines, and Alan Neschlosh, and Howard Lerner.
Wow.
Not many African Americans were into Twisted Sister at the time.
Right. Twisted Sister. Faced with, in news from Rome, faced with more than 10,000 coronaviruses and a death toll above 600, the Italian government this week placed the country's entire population of 60 million people on lockdown. So don't go there.
That's a lot of people to not leave the house. A supermarket, you probably don't know, but is a supermarket open in Italy, or is it like, right? Do people
I think they still have access to supermarkets. They just have to get
like
permission
scurry
or
there
sign
and
up.
yeah.
Like San Francisco's like that, right? They're on lockdown, but they can still go outside, walk the dog. They can jog as long as they're 6 feet away from somebody, I believe.
Woody Allen's book has been shelved. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he wrote the book. He got the deal on it, and then
Autobiography.
somebody, the people that worked for the company, walked out.
They all walked out in protest, and the book is now. So the question is, did he already give the rights to this book company so it's never going to see the light of day, or can he take it someplace else?
And sell it on his own, but who's going to buy it? I have a Woody Allen story, if you don't mind. I auditioned for Woody Allen for a movie called Deconstructing Harry.
Okay.
And before I went in, I sat there. You know how you sit and wait to go in? It was Spider from Goodfellas. Michael Imperiale from Sopranos. I don't know if you remember Christopher Moltisanti. It was
Well,
him.
which good fella character?
Christopher, the guy with the big nose and the beautiful girlfriend, the heroin addict. Basically one of the main guys.
Did
till
he
the
get
end.
killed at the end?
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah,
Tony held his nose.
I'll know which one. The one that was hanging in the truck in the meat locker.
No.
Which
No,
one?
this was the
Spoiler.
younger main character that lasted most of the series, right?
And his girlfriend was beautiful, Adriana. She was blonde, and she went to the FBI, and then they killed her.
So what happened?
No, I was just saying it's a funny, interesting thing that it was me, Michael Imperiali, and John Joseph. If you guys know stand-up comedy, John Joseph's been doing stand-up 100 years. We were waiting to go in. And then I did the lines, and I was so new at this, I read the, Woody Allen was sitting in a corner with a spotlight over him, so you couldn't see his face. You couldn't see his reactions, but I heard him laughing in the shadow. And I found out later the reason he was laughing, I was reading the stage directions as part of the dialogue. You know what I mean? In a low voice. Where are you going with the money?
So
As I turn my head.
I didn't get the role.
you didn't get it.
Nope.
Do you think that light was on his face so he could read better, or do you think it was
Not at
kinda-
all. Like the way it was
kinda
set up
hide it?
was two things. It was set up so you couldn't see his face for some reason.
There he is.
And they told me not to touch him on the way out. But I think they told me to. Like I shook his hand on the way out.
Darren was in Get Shorty.
Yeah, I was in the movie Be Cool, the sequel to Get Shorty with John Travolta. And
Nice.
A whole bunch of people were in that movie. It was really cool.
So that's too bad about
Thanks for-
Woody Allen. I don't think we should. I don't think.
Did you ever hear his early albums? They were hilarious, man. He was so funny. His
Yeah, I was not into that. Chris Rock said he became a comedian because of those albums.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, do you think what he did is true? He's allegedly
It's
molested.
none of my business.
Oh, okay, got it. No problem.
You know, we don't know. You know,
No, I understood.
You know, families. It's like a family affair, I guess. You know.
He did marry his 16-year-old stepdaughter.
Well, I heard she was pretty attractive.
Well, she's Asian. They have a horizontal vagina. You know that.
It looks that way.
East-west.
That's an item of interest.
A British senior citizen has been slapped with a restraining order and suspended prison sentence after she used her pet parrot as a weapon to torment her neighbor during a 16-year harassment campaign.
Wow.
A court heard about Catherine Searle, 81, would play opera loudly to overstimulate the bird and cause it to screech for days on end.
Oh, the neighbor needs to move out. Oh, the neighbor needs to move out. Oh, turn the opera music off. Oh.
That's
Polly wants a restraining order.
animal cruelty. How's your dog doing, Brian?
Yeah, good.
It's coming back. Coming
Good,
around.
Good. How's the Tesla tire?
Good. They fixed it.
Is
That's great. For Teslas, they just come right out to your house.
It's
You don't have to
great.
go anywhere.
Is that super expensive when that happens, or
It's $40.
that's not bad? That's great. Wow, good for you.
You have a Tesla?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds-
You're welcome.
Everything is fine with his tire.
Yeah. Was that private information? I didn't know if it was.
Well, I don't know. I didn't think it needed to be.
No, I thought I saw a video of it, right? Like a Ustream or something, like a live stream.
You
of
know,
the tire.
car problems and medical things are kind of private. I don't know. You want to talk about the last time he changed the oil too?
There is no oil in the Tesla.
Oh, that's right.
Really?
No oil at all, huh?
No oil.
Nothing.
How does the engine?
spark plugs.
How does the engine function?
It's an electric engine, so it's like a.
There's got to be some oil lubricant or something in there.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
The only thing I really have to do is windshield wiper fluid.
That's
That's
easy.
$10,000.
Hey!
That's how
now-
that gets you, man.
A California woman who meticulously watered a houseplant for 2 years was stunned to discover that the succulent was actually plastic.
That's funny. I thought you were going to say that was marijuana. That's where I thought the story was going.
Carly Wilkins, 24, wrote on Facebook that she was proud of her beautiful succulent, calling it the perfect plant. The stay-at-home mom, good, stay at home, lock yourself in.
Yeah.
Even after the coronavirus is over, don't go out because you're going to cause problems if you go out. The stay-at-home mom kept to a strict watering schedule and dutifully washed its leaves. But when she tried to transplant it into the cutest vase, discovered it was fake rooted in styrofoam.
What an idiot! How did she not know that?
I feel like these last 2 years have been a lie, she wrote.
Oh, my gosh.
Come on, tell us about this lady. Tell me what this lady...
She's stupid. The last 2 years have been a lie.
Do you have any houseplants, John?
I do not. I have a wife, 3 kids, a dog.
You don't need a houseplant.
That was for a rescue. It was a 3-legged dirty hyena pit bull mix.
Jesus.
6 felonies on his record.
Prince Andrew is not going to cooperate with any investigation into his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Guilty.
So he doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, 100%. You remember his defense? That he doesn't sweat. The one girl said he was all over me and he was sweating. I could still feel it like it was a bad mental anchor. And he said, well, I don't sweat, so it couldn't have been me. I mean, that's a weak defense.
Yeah, it sure is.
But then again, no, I don't want to.
Ben Affleck. I want to try to see what this woman looks like. Ben Affleck and his latest co-star, Anna D. Armas, A-R-M-A-S, was spotted making out last week before boarding a private jet to Cuba.
Wow. Holtzman and his gossip section of the
I know, I love it.
People reported they're definitely dating. They're doing more than that. And a source said Affleck, 47, and Diamras, 31, play husband and wife in the upcoming thriller Deep Water, which recently wrapped filming. Diamras who starred in the last year's Knives Out, is Cuban. And the two were overheard chatting flirtatiously.
I'm kind of in a movie with Ben Affleck.
Is that her? That's not her, is it?
No. That's people gossiping.
There's people gossiping. Is that Tony Rock? We're all like wrong people, everyone.
They always say making a movie is so hard, They make, it's so hard. It's just so terrible hard. Try sheetrocking a house,
Yeah, try building rustic furniture.
Yeah, try
with no heat 1 hour ago.
Pouring concrete, The hardest thing that the actors have to do is decide who they're going to have sex with in their trailer. I mean, go home with a hurt back every day. Driving a bus or construction, and you talk about making a movie is so terribly hard.
Stallone was making love to a girl in his trailer, and he left his mic on. You ever hear the story?
No.
Yeah, he said, don't neglect the balls. Is that the one?
Yeah.
What did he say?
It's funny. I heard he said, cup my balls. Cup them.
Cup my balls. Cup my balls. Cup them.
And then years ago when they had payphones, Robert De Niro was on a payphone. And he looked all the way across 30 feet away, and he saw the sound guy listening like this. And he just goes like this, are you listening to me? And it was 30 feet away, and the sound guy went like this. He shook his head no. But he heard it through the...
so that sound
yeah.
guy...
Oh, wow.
I almost lost a job on a big movie because I had left my mic on because I'm a comedian, I have a big mouth. And I didn't realize that, with like the way you and I would talk about dish on someone else, little do you know that 30 or 40 other people could hear it, or how many ever. And I was questioning a guy's sexuality. And the guy happened to be the producer of the movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I almost lost a nice gig.
Cut my balls.
Just tell him I take it back. I take it back. What else can you say?
What's that?
The Italian Stallion?
What
Is
it
this
like?
a porno he's in?
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's in a porno.
Yeah, before he made it, he did a...
And
I don't know if it was like a full porno, but it's like...
Oh, it's like a...
And that movie, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 or something, he was one of the young thugs on the train, the subway train.
That's one of the only movies that portrays real transit cops, which I was a transit cop.
How long were you a transit cop for?
I was a transit cop for 12 years, 1986 to 1998. And you know who else was a New York City transit cop, actor and comedian? Eddie Murphy's real father.
Oh, no shit.
Was a New York City transit cop, an actor and a comedian, and he was killed off duty when Eddie was 5 years old.
Oh.
He was stabbed by a woman, an ex-lover.
Wow.
But I was a transit cop, and our motto was, you ride, we hide.
I never knew Eddie Murphy's father was a comedian. That's pretty cool.
I don't think he was a professional, but if you
but-
read the bio, like I did a lot of homework.
Yeah.
He was a New York City transit cop. And I had a dream last night that about Eddie Money. He was a New York City cop. Did you know that?
Right.
But he quit while still in the academy.
Oh, I thought he.
I don't think he ever got to patrol. There's some hoopty scoop happened while he was in the academy, and he resigned.
We just lost him.
Oh, that dude was so talented. I did 2 gigs with him. And he had the Long Island, Brooklyn. I was on a radio show with him, and he goes, I remember you. Yeah, we did a show in New York. You got over. You got over.
Cool.
You got over. I remember you. You got over. Like, that's all that matters. You got over.
He had, 2 tickets to Paradise? 2 tickets to Paradise.
He had 1 ticket to Paradise.
How about the other one? Take me home
He
tonight.
has so many hits. That guy has dozens of hits. And when I worked with him, he had the shirt all the way open and the man tits were jiggling. His real name is Eddie Mahoney.
Do you like Bruce Springsteen?
I was never a huge Springsteen fan, but I do like him. I respect him.
My brother
Crazy.
doesn't like him. He says he just screams.
No, the guy's a monster.
What about Dancing in the Dark? It's a great song.
They love some of his fans.
Courtney Cox.
He could sing the alphabet, and
Oh, yeah, they're die high. What about his son? Just got sworn in as a fireman. Imagine your dad is Bruce Springsteen and you're going to put your life on the line. That's a real hero. Yeah. Jersey City, fireman.
He's taking it too serious, Sometimes we have dead air on the podcast.
Yeah, I see. That's okay.
That's the name of the show. Dead Air.
It's time to crumple my McDonald's wrapper.
Burger King.
Led Zeppelin came out a winner this week. They did not steal. They were accused of ripping off a riff.
That's been going on for 20 years, that lawsuit.
Do you have that side by side? Because to me, it sounded very similar.
No.
You don't think it sounded similar?
Do you think he's a thief? Do you think I'm a thief? Do you think John is a thief?
I don't want to believe it, but when
Do you
you
think
hear
Brian is a
when you
thief?
hear that riff, man, when you hear that riff,
Do you think your son is a thief?
when you hear that riff,
A girl did a
I
set.
guess, yes, I guess you do. I think your son is a witch.
A girl did a set this week or last week on Colbert, and she got accused of using someone's joke. I don't know if you guys got into that at all.
What happened? Tell us about that.
No, some girl did her first set ever on TV, and then it was all. Do you know what I'm talking about? And then it was all over the internet that one of the jokes she stole from her best friend.
oh wow,
Yeah, she was good looking.
What was the joke? Do you remember the joke?
Basically, I was raised in a Spanish household, so like if you burn your hand, instead of saying "ow," you would say "si" or whatever the word is.
Ay, or
Yeah,
something
something
like
like
that.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all.
Really?
So Led Zeppelin did not steal the opening riff for its 1971 anthem, Stairway to Heaven. A federal appeals court ruled this week. British rockers Jimmy Page and Robert Plant have been accused of ripping off the 1968 song Taurus by the U.S. band Spirit. Spirit was a pretty popular band, too,
That would have been some paycheck.
with whom Zeppelin appeared on the same bill for several shows in the late 60s. A jury found in 2016 that Led Zeppelin didn't infringe on the copyright of that song. A musicologist who testified on the band's behalf said the elements of the two songs had in common had appeared in music for more than 300 years. Now, how the hell did he know that? They didn't have 300 years ago. There wasn't even any electricity, for crying out loud. They were but
They played the recorder.
this is people with degrees sometimes are just so full of shit.
Oh, there it is, right there.
What is right there?
Listen, this is the opening riff.
Yeah, they played that at the Caveman Ball in 21 BC. That's the song they played at the wedding that Christ turned the wine into water, or the other way around, whatever you want to say.
Stairway to the wheel.
Musologist. What's the?
Fire.
They don't even give this guy's name.
It sounds familiar to me.
He testified on the band's because he had the elements of songs in common. The three-judge panel ordered a new hearing after deciding that the trial judge had made a series of errors. What could he have done wrong? The whole thing is just so, that's why they never like you to defend yourself in court. They look down on you if you try to defend yourself because they're all in on they're all
The fix is in.
Yeah, they're all in. They all know what's going on. I'm so happy Judge Judy is retiring. I can't stand her screaming at people on the television. Shut up, Judy. You shut up.
Yeah.
There's just people trying to get their situations squared away, and all they're doing is getting yelled at by Judge Judy. You've seen the way she yells at people.
She's the highest paid person on TV.
Oh, yeah. Billions.
$75 million a year.
Billions.
Whoa.
She does.
Is that her with her boobs out?
Whoa. Come on, Bobby.
Hey now.
No.
Hey now.
Yo.
Is that Judge Judy?
That's
Holy
Photoshop.
cow. Whoa.
Who's this one?
Oh, man.
That's Judge Marilyn.
Whoa.
And we talked about this one. This is the new movie, The Way Back, with our friend Ben Affleck. A new name has joined the list of top 10 basketball movies of all time, said so-and-so and so-and-so. Ben Affleck's latest comeback project, a small-scale drama about the alcoholic who steps into a coach the high school team he once starred for. Didn't light up the box office last weekend, but it upends expectations in satisfying ways. So see it if you want. You quarantine. See it.
When does what was that? What did he play with?
Oh, you can't see it.
Daredevil? He was a superhero like 20 years ago.
Batman. Was he Batman?
No, Daredevil.
It's Batman too.
But I'm in Daredevil. My voice
are?
is in Daredevil. Well, I'm a paid actor, not an extra. My since the New York accent, I'm in a lot of movies where they at the end they fill it in ADR. So I don't like to drop names. Michael Caine told me it was rude. I'm in 3 Steven Spielberg movies, and I'm in Daredevil. And then most recently was when a guy crossed the Twin Towers. They did a movie, not the documentary, the movie, like Bird on a Wire or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Tightrope walker.
You know the one where he crossed the Twin Towers?
Yeah.
So any movie that's shot in New York or has a New York theme, a lot of times I get brought in to add flavor.
So what was your line? Do you remember? Like you're just a New York.
Did anyone see Daredevil?
No. I
Okay.
didn't see it.
In the movie, who's that handsome Irish guy with the dark black hair? He's now in AA.
Adam Egget.
No.
Liam something or the other.
Anyway, he's the criminal that Ben Affleck is after. And after all this chasing, an NYPD helicopter zeroes in and puts the flashlight on him. And then that's me saying,
cool.
put your hands where you can see him. If not, we're going to send the Daredevil. And then in the other movie where the guy crosses the wire, the same thing. New York City helicopter. They put me up, and I said, there was like a very straight line, like, hey, you better come off that rope or, you're going to get arrested. And I said, hey, can I try at least one? And they said, God forbid you have your own idea. And I said, so imagine I'm on the helicopter and a guy's walking across the Twin Towers. And I go, hey, guy, up here in the helicopter. I said, look, if you don't come down off that wire, I'm going to come out there and get you. I mean, just get off the fucking wire. You're making my job hard. And it was funny, right? Because, how do you get the guy? He's on the fucking wire.
Right.
And, do you guys remember War of the Worlds?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
You got a good agent.
I had to audition for War of the Worlds for Steven Spielberg on a speakerphone. So they had 3 of us with a New York accent, and he was like, okay, number 6, go, or number 3, you go again. And the commercial was coming out the next day. And if you remember War of the Worlds, the world cracked open, and there was like things that lived in, and the line was, there's something down there, and it looks like it's moving. And I didn't get that. But when the movie, somehow, some way, I'm in that movie too.
Hey, did I ever tell you my line from Be Cool?
Go and tell us now.
Call 911.
No. Cut my balls.
Hey-o.
Yeah, thank you. No, I had more than one line, but I just wanted to say that.
Right.
Call back.
And Catch Me If You Can, I'm a train announcer. Remember that one? That's a Spielberg one.
That's a good one.
Oh,
Catch
that
Me
was,
If You Can.
That was fun. I saw that on an airplane. I like that movie.
I watched this. I had a gig in Hong Kong. I had to watch I Am Sam 7 times in a row. That's where Sean Penn plays a retarded coffee guy.
Yeah, that was...
But they played it over and over and over, the whole ride.
I think if you look up Be Cool, Darren Carter, Be Cool, it might be there.
Cut my balls.
Cup of balls.
The famous hotel, the Beverly Hills Hotel, Ever wanted to vacation the way Hollywood royalty would do it back in the day? Asked so-and-so and so-and-so. At the Beverly Hills Hotel, 21 private bungalows have now been renovated, providing guests the chance to imagine reliving the life of, say, Charlie Chaplin, Elizabeth Taylor, or Frank Sinatra. Bungalow. My listeners, please get off the chair, take the rope from around your neck off, and just bear with us here, you know.
I'm with you. Any more burgers?
No, I just bought one for each. I only got one toilet paper. I
You want
figured
the other half of this one?
No dessert?
Go ahead. They're
You're not
cutting
going to
in
eat
half.
that?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, who cuts them in? I never saw a burger cut
I
in half.
love it. It's my new thing. Holtzman does it every time he goes and
Yeah.
gets food, and now every time I go,
You cut your sandwiches in half, so there's no reason not to cut your hamburgers.
It's funny. Every bagel I ever buy in L.A. never is cut in half. Ever. Where in New York, a bagel is cut in half.
Yeah, and the Kaiser rolls are always cut
They're
in half.
never cut in half here.
It's
What a
like
bunch of dicks.
They're good at buying guns, though. You can imagine reliving the life of, say, Charlie Chaplin, Elizabeth Taylor, or Frank Sinatra. Bungalow 9, the new Chaplin retreat, is at once luxurious and laid back, said so-and-so and so-and-so. The honey-tone interior of the room matters more than their theme details. If you're looking for your next home away from home, the bungalows are your best move. $7,700 a night.
That's a lot.
Oh, look at that. They're pretty nice, though. They're like little little houses.
Yeah. And they also have bungalows. They're just where people, when they're getting their house renovated or they're getting
$7,000
construction.
a night, though.
It's a little excessive.
That's got to come with mouth sex.
Yeah, but if
From
you,
a tranny.
if you got the kind of money like this Amazon character, or
Jeff Bezos.
it's just why would you stay in a room with common walls at a hotel when you could have your own bungalow if you got I don't know,
But when your eyes
the
are
richest
shut,
guy in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
$7,000 is a lot.
I mean,
That's the most I ever heard of.
yeah, that's more than Redban makes in an hour.
Come on.
Why are you putting his personal business out there?
Hey.
I stayed at the Waldorf Astoria for 17 days in a row on someone else's bill. Thank you.
Wow, that must have been nice.
How'd it feel? You feel like you were really in show business?
Of course. What do you think?
Yeah.
And while I was in New York, my brother lent me his Mercedes-Benz.
Wow.
So I just parked it every night in the basement of the Waldorf, but that wasn't covered. That hurt.
You had to pay for the
17
parking.
days was like $2,000.
Yeah, you should. That should be included when you have a vehicle.
I remember once I had a Yugo. That was my first car. It was a Yugo.
Yugo?
Yeah, I really did. I really did have a Yugo. It was a 1988 Yugo or 87. I don't remember the year, but it was a used Yugo. And
Oh, God.
I know, but it was all I could afford. And my payments were $89 a month as an up-and-coming comedian.
That seems high.
I know. It does, right? It was $89, and then the insurance was $105. So the insurance was higher. But I remember I was in a music video on Sunset at one of those hotels. They put us up for one night, and I remember giving my car to the valet, and it was so embarrassing because there's a lot of instructions. Like I was like, be careful with the key, and you got to push this and that, and this won't start, and that, and
Did you take driver's ed in high school? What was the
'cause
problem with the car? What are you, retarded or something?
No, that car had a lot of problems. I don't know if you ever had a used car that has a lot of problems.
Oh, it was used, and you were
Yeah.
making payments on a used car?
Yeah.
Wow.
But you ask
You
your
get
parents
laid?
for some
You
money.
get laid?
I was adopted. They didn't have that kind of. I didn't
Oh,
have that
you
kind of-
were
I didn't have
adopted.
that kind of like.
Have you brought that up
relationship.
before on the podcast?
I think on another podcast. On mine, I did, but in another one.
Were you
but-
dropped on a doorstep late at night?
No, I wasn't.
Did you ever find your parents? Like,
Yes,
did you ever look
luckily I did. Yeah. Well,
How'd that go?
I always knew my mom, and then I found my father recently. Not recently, but like the last 18 years ago.
Did they
or
have
something.
red hair?
Mother did. Yeah.
What happened? They just didn't like you?
Yeah.
No.
That's rough.
It's rough. It's rough, man. No, it's drugs. The whole thing. Drugs, prison.
Oh, they were bad people?
They're into the whole outlaw lifestyle, all that crap, you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you bring that up before? Did I know that before?
I don't think. Did you know that?
I would have felt differently about you if I knew you were adopted. That's for
Really?
sure.
You didn't know that? Oh.
You know what I just found out? It's definitely not as severe. My dad was always Joseph Diresta our whole life. My dad, Joseph Diresta.
My father's name was Joe, too.
And I just found out about a year ago that my dad was born Julio Diresta. And he didn't like it. When he was 10 years old, he legally changed it.
Wow.
So his first name was Julio.
Julio.
Oh, you think you're part Spanish?
No. It's definitely Italian, but it.
Is that an Italian name too?
But when I found that out, I was like, has my whole life been a lie?
Have I been watering a plastic plant?
There you go.
What do you believe now? What do you believe?
Yeah.
Well, you know what else happened to me? If you don't mind, I'll say it very quickly. I was
No. You go right
a
ahead.
humongous fan. A humongous fan of Sons of Anarchy. I've seen the series 8-10 times through and through. I know word. I could watch it with the sound off, and I know word for word. I love it. And Jax was my only friend. If you guys watch the show, the young guy, Charlie Hunnam, was my only friend. Every night at 11, it's on. If you have cable, I have DirecTV. And he became my best friend every night. Smoke pot, watch that, smoke pot. Go over my set or my woodworking. And then about 5 weeks ago, he was on one of the late night shows, and he had an English accent. And it fucking broke my heart.
You never knew that, or you knew it, but you never paid attention to it?
I
never
was
knew
surprised about Christian Bale. I didn't know that he had an English accent.
I was like, has my whole life been a lie? That's a callback to my dad's name.
It's mind-boggling that the things you find out about your parents.
I think I knew it right away. That's why I didn't want to watch the Sons of Anarchy, because it was around the time that Breaking Bad. I was watching Breaking Bad. It was so good, and people were like, "Well, then you've got to try Sons of Anarchy."
How old were you when you were giving up?
I was 3 years old.
Wow.
I was taken, by the state or whatever, and then I lived in that foster home until I was 9, and then they adopted me.
Oh my God!
They adopted me
foster
though.
home.
I know.
What a sad story. So
Yeah.
wonder you're not on medication or
I know.
counseling.
I know. I think about that. It's like
He turned to comedy.
I turned to stand up. It's worse than drugs and all the crap.
That's why we always say it, like how Darren's always like typically known as like the good guy, the nice guy. You know he has these dark secrets. He's got bodies in his backyard.
No,
you know.
man. You know what? It's like, I know. Yeah.
This information.
Him and Jeremiah Watkins.
I wasn't adopted.
I know. Gee, guys.
I was born in Far Rockaway, Queens. So I'm a real New Yorker. It just hit me the other day at 55 years old because I moved to Long Island when I was like a year or 2 years old. And I realized I was born in Far Rockaway, Queens. I'm a real New Yorker. I'm not a Flid. You know what a Flid is? You're a Flid.
Tell me.
A fucking Long Island douchebag. Flid. Who's a king Flid? King of... I am a Flid too, but who's our king? Joey Buttafuoco.
Right.
Dee Schneider and Alec Baldwin. Top 3. Your turn.
This information about you being adopted is definitely going to affect your future bookings on this podcast. I just want to let you know.
Boy, damn it.
That's funny. I wasn't adopted.
No, either was I.
No.
Oh, man. This sucks. There's always the one odd man out.
No. I don't mean to make you feel uncomfortable or anything, but this is definitely something I didn't know. John probably didn't know you were adopted.
No, I do, and I know. I think
Brian
it's
didn't
interesting because I know what his dad actually. Do you want to share what your dad was?
Yeah.
Do you mind?
No, go ahead.
I think it's badass. His dad was in the Hell's Angels.
Yeah.
His real dad.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable with you being adopted. I really don't. Because it's like you're not a real person. You know?
I am a real person.
You're a person, but
I'm
you're a
real.
shadowy figure with like a front, like an agenda that we don't know about. You know?
Yeah, that comes up.
It's
It
the sound.
explains his father was a Hell Angels. That explains why you go in the bathroom every 5 minutes to snort your drugs and talk.
That explains why he does sound effects in his act.
Shout out to my dad.
Oh yeah, let me tell you something. When we were talking about being horrified by that idiot with the undeveloped photographs.
He was
Right.
horrified to find pictures.
I just remembered sometime, when I was with my mother shopping like really young at Mays department store.
Sure.
And I'll tell you when I was horrified. Did you ever grab onto your mother's skirt and then find out it's another lady? That's horrifying.
Oh yeah.
That's horrifying.
I'm missing a beat.
You grab your mom's skirt, and then the lady turns around,
Oh,
and
I
it's not
see.
your mom.
Oh, okay. No, I never did that.
That's horrifying.
I never did that.
Who
about that a lot?
who's more horrified, the lady or you, when you were a kid?
The lady's not horrified. The lady doesn't care. All the lady cares about is whatever ladies care about when they're shopping at Maze.
But she's not.
You
like
know what I
some
did?
stranger
Are you talking about the
grandma.
one in Valley Stream?
No, up on Hempstead Turnpike near Governor's Comedy Club.
Okay.
Now it's a thrift a flea market. a
Okay, yeah.
Jewelry mart.
Tri-county, some.
Tri-county bullshit.
Oh,
My mother used to work there in the housewares department.
At the Maze in Valley Stream, I was about 4 years old, and I hit the off button on the escalator.
Ooh.
I saw a big red button that was like my height, like 3 feet, and I hit off, and I shut the escalator off.
Oh my God!
I was a rebel. I mean, I wasn't a Hell's Angel, but
I used to get lost all the time in those departments. They'd have to be shit. I don't know. It was just.
Do you remember Two Guys?
Uh,
Does that sound familiar?
yes.
There was a store in Long Island, a chain of them called Two Guys. They were like, a low budget, Target. And the joke around my part of Long Island was, I heard your parents own a store. It's called Two Guys. That was the joke. Or your mom's like a shotgun.
All right.
How is your mom like a shotgun?
One cock she blows.
Oh.
Your mom's like an
Are
oven.
you happy you asked?
Yeah. That makes sense now.
Your mom's like an oven.
How's that?
She gets warm before the meat comes in.
Ooh, I like that.
So when you're at home with your family now, do you,
Which family?
the family that you have now?
Yes.
Do you like sit in separate when you eat? Do you
No.
do in separate rooms?
No. It's my family. Yeah.
But I can't imagine you being a whole person.
See, he's not the guy you would open your heart up to. You know what I mean?
I know one other
No, I'm
kid.
just being honest. I'm
I
trying to
know,
be honest.
exactly. I'm being honest too.
If I was adopted on a podcast, I'd feel.
You'd lead with that, or you wouldn't tell nobody.
Well, I just
Too late now.
I just think it's kind of Do you feel less then? Because
When I was a kid, I did.
you don't feel
Yeah.
less now. Less than now.
Because now I have my own family. So
What
I'm
about
like,
now that the comedy clubs are closed?
Starting to feel like I'm a foster kid again.
So did you
Without a home.
Did you get a family just to make up for your shortcomings by being adopted? Are you using your family for your own benefit? sort
Maybe
of
I
thing?
am. Maybe this is going deep today. Yeah, maybe I am. Damn.
You want two of my kids?
Well, your kids are too old. Your kids are too old.
They would be like roommates. And shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest.
But
Whenever,
having those kids, you still look young as all hell. Like
No,
there's
thanks, dude.
You
I'm
don't have,
55.
you don't show any signs of wear and tear by having 3 people with their hands out.
Oof, sucking on my wallet. I got nipples on my wallet.
but
My son's been arrested 15 times.
Oh man.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm telling you, talking about mental anchors. When I see people with moms, like I definitely have that. Like I love that. Like I remember with detail you and your mom being at the Comedy Store kitchen, and you were giving her a tour back there, and I was
That's
thinking,
my natural mother. Too.
I know, it was
my natural
your
mother.
birth
That wasn't
mom,
some
I
mother
know.
that found me or picked me up because I
Adopted.
was a leftover.
I know.
At the kennel.
Yeah.
It's amazing. When I saw that, I was like, that's so cool. I wish I had that relationship. I wish I had a real mom like that.
I bet you do, but
I
you
know.
can't because you were
Can't.
adopted.
I know.
We'll get back to that in a minute,
Okay.
perhaps. The world's tropical forests are rapidly losing their ability to soak up carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, a worrying development that could accelerate climate change, reports the so-and-so and so-and-so. In a new study using data from 565 tropical forests across Africa and the Amazon, an international team of researchers found that the forest intake of carbon peaked in the 1990s. This is really important because they keep telling us we're 10 years out before it's too late. I always say, I think it's already too late. It's like it's too late for you to be happy, Darren.
It's never too late. It's never too late, guys.
In the past decade, they've absorbed a third. You should get some counseling or some kind of outside help for this because you're only going to bring down your real family
They like it.
by
They're
your
okay.
past.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. I talked to your family about it, and they weren't too happy. What did you tell them?
Yeah.
Told your wife?
Yeah.
Still wanted to marry you?
Yes.
Ooh.
God, that's trouble, huh?
No, it's.
It's good.
I think that he opened up. I think it's good. It's nice that you second guess his whole existence.
Oh, it just seems like
You're really making him earn that half a cold cheeseburger, aren't you?
Exactly. No, it's where we got the foster.
No wonder you wound up in show business. You know, that's where all the dented cans wind up.
That's where we wind up. Hey, what's your problem? How are you in show business?
I'm not. Now listen. Here we go. Let's finish this tropical. In the past decade, they've absorbed a third less difference of 23 billion tons, of about the same as a decade ago, of fossil fuel emissions from the UK, Germany, Canada, and France combined. Forests lose their ability to soak up carbon as trees dry out and die from droughts and higher temperatures. But the greatest threats to rainforests, of course, are logging, burning, and other forms of human activity. If the Amazon, the world's largest tropical forest, continues to degrade at its current rate, researchers believe it will turn from a carbon sink to a source of emissions by 2035. Humans have been lucky so far. Tropical forests are mopping a lot of air pollution. So what do you think, John? What's your opinion on climate change?
Oh, I could care less. I think it's a hoax, but
most people do.
What do I know? I mean, I like polluting. I like throwing stuff out the window of my car. You know what I mean?
I do. I think the only time I really pollute, I was thinking about that, or litter, and I don't feel that bad about it, is maybe like in a movie theater. You know, sometimes I spill popcorn on the ground. I'm like,
That's not littering.
It's not really littering, though, right?
Littering is only when it can't be picked up properly.
I think it was George Carlin that said the Earth's been here 80 billion years. Do you really think that we're doing that much of damage? I don't know. I think right now we have bigger problems. Right now, the most immediate problem is this Kung flu, combined with no work. You know what I mean? Combined with restaurants closed. My daughter lost her job yesterday.
I know about.
She loved it.
I know about no work.
Yeah. I mean, look about it. You know what? You know what's the best thing out of it for all of us, all four of us sitting here? The best thing, we came up with it today. I think I did. Is like now we have an excuse for having no money and being losers. It's the it's the coronavirus.
Well, speak for yourselves, please.
Was your daughter a waitress or
she was a manager of a restaurant, and then she started to serve about a month ago, and she said, every day, Dad, at the end of the day, I have money, I have cash in my pocket, my bills are not a problem, I meet famous people. It's in Sherman Oaks, Jamie Foxx, this one, that one. She's very funny and very witty, and she said I get laughs at every table. And she's a
name dropper too.
But for the first time, she was like happy about going to work. And now the restaurant's closed for 8 weeks, and the financial burden was such that they probably won't reopen.
Wow!
And that's it. She has no job. I mean, I had to tell her.
Cheetahs will reopen, right?
Well, watch this. Even when they reopen, are they going to be packed the first night? No, because everyone's broke. Not everyone.
Here comes
What's he going to do? Put his dick on my shoulder?
There goes Sniffles.
It's his thing.
SUVs and pickup trucks have become so large that buyers are having trouble fitting them in their home garages and public parking spaces. In New York, parking lots are increasingly charging oversized fees for vehicles like Chevrolet Suburban and Fiat Chrysler's Ram. They're big pickups. Some are already charged them.
I drive a Ram pickup with a 8-cylinder Hemi. I love it. I have Sirius Radio. It changed my life. Heavy metal and Howard Stern. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's how much does that cost a month?
Well, I bought it used. It was $1,500.
No, the
it came with the car.
For how long?
I bought the car a year ago. No one's ever billed me. So the guy that owned the car before me probably paid for it for life. Howard Stern and heavy metal.
Here's an interesting one. There's a potential war going to happen in between Ethiopia and Egypt. Ethiopia built a big dam on the famous Nile River.
Right.
Which is going to affect the water that flows to Egypt. And they're in negotiations. They sent somebody from America to try to figure out what to do. And they came up with a plan that was going to be destructive for Ethiopia. So Ethiopia walked away from the talks. So that's going to be something to watch in the future.
Yeah, I got my own problems.
Because Ethiopia...
Here we go. Look, North Hollywood. That's my neighbor.
Ethiopia really needs the electricity that's provided by the dam, and Egypt needs the water from the Nile.
Speaking of Ethiopia and old jokes, do you remember this one? This was a Long Island joke. How many Ethiopians can you fit in a phone booth?
How many?
All of them. That joke has 30 years of cobwebs on it.
What would Brody Stevens say?
How dare you? I remember when the Challenger blew up. This was like the most hackiest joke, but it's like, how many astronauts could you fit in a car? 4 in the seats and 7 in the ashtray. Remember that?
Okay, hold on. What was the last thing that was what was the female on the Challenger?
Yeah, what's her name?
The teacher.
Yeah, the teacher. What was the last thing she said? What's this button for?
Yeah, that was.
I was in Florida, and I was about 100 miles away at my Aunt Ann's house. She was like 99 years old. I was on the front lawn, and had it gone up a certain height, I would have seen it because I was like 60 miles away. And she yelled from inside the house, "I don't think you're gonna say it. Something seems wrong." That was a rough one.
Wow, Darren's must be
I think
snapping it
Darren's
off.
taking a number 2.
Here's one for you, Brian. Another story for you. There's one every week, it seems. Tesla looking for a location for its cyber truck plant. Plans $3.5 billion a year in capital spending through 2022. Taking advantage of its soaring share prices, the company raised $2.3 billion in stock sales last month.
Now's the time to buy this stock too. I guess like Apple is down 25% right now. Tesla's down right now, and
Everything must be down.
everything's
right now.
down. Yeah, but yeah, that's Cybertruck. It's gonna be nice.
I'll be right back.
World regulators fined banks a record $10 billion in 15 months through the end of 2009, with a 60.5% of the fines coming for money laundering violations. That contrasts with $26 billion for the entire decade. Wow. If you put a suit and tie on, you can do whatever you want.
That's right.
You steal a tire, and you'll go into the big house for 7 or 8 years. You steal $1 billion, they don't even investigate. Okay, some automotive news. The 2020 Mercedes GLB 250. The newest compact SUV from Mercedes-Benz seems laboratory designed to fit the desires and lifestyles of aspiring families. Slotting into the already narrow space between the GLA and the GLC, the first ever GLB turns out to be surprisingly practical for its size, as well as semi-affordable. It's a handsome sucker, too, in part because it presents itself with the honest, upright grace that once characterized most every truck-inspired SUV. Its upright stance all makes it feel roomier than anything else in its class.
Bullshit.
Wow. Affordably practical from $36,600. Part of the fun about reading some of these items of interest is the way that they word them. Somebody's got paid a lot of money to write what I just read. You know, they could make a shiny piece of feces in front of an empty garbage pail seem attractive. You know, just the way they word it.
The sparkling fecal matter from the dog Fifi was something you've never seen before.
Okay, this is some quarantine information. Hand soap. Washing your hands thoroughly and regularly with soap provides better protection from the novel coronavirus than hand sanitizers, which might not kill the virus. You may want sanitizers with 60% alcohol, though, for when you can't access soap and water. Bathroom tissue. Yes, you will need a 2-week supply of toilet paper if you have to self-isolate because you develop flu symptoms. Facial tissues are needed too. Have them at hand or to cough or sneeze into. Plus, more to limit contact with doorknobs and etc. etc. I never touch doorknobs when I leave a public restroom.
How do you get out of there?
You just you take a paper towel and you open it with the paper. What are you? You're adopted, aren't you?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Gee, Dad, how do you get out of a restaurant without time? But don't you ever do this with your sleeve?
You
ever,
stay in there until you wait for some guy to come in and take a shit. You know, that's what you do.
Inside the bathroom, you're just waiting there.
Yeah, you just wait there until someone.
Do you use your feet a lot? I use my feet a lot. I flush the toilet with my foot. I open the door with my foot. I saw a guy at the airport. He leaned down and the automatic toilet didn't flush. He put his little finger on, and he pushed the button. I was like, that's so gross. His bare finger on the button.
Well, he's gonna wash his hands when he's done. It's okay.
Would you do? I would never do that.
Well, so,
I would use my foot.
Every time's different. Sometimes you'll do it with an elbow. Sometimes you'll do it with a kneecap. Sometimes you will use your hand. It's every day. It's it's a new day.
How about you, Diresta? Do you use your hand on the toilet?
I don't know if he wants to
public?
be called by his last name. Maybe he's more comfortable with John. Is Diresta
Either
okay?
one's good. I like my last name.
I take it back, Darren.
Yeah,
Call him
that's
whatever
all
you
good.
want. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
I
Darren.
sympathize with him. He was adopted.
I want to apologize.
Thank you. It's
I don't mean to. I mean to tell you what to do.
I'm going to police up my area.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I'm going to keep my toilet
When
paper.
it comes to public toilets, do you use your hand or your foot? Look at that girl. Oh, my gosh. She's like licking something, a
yeah,
toilet?
she's licking the toilet
Why would she do that?
because she's an Instagrammer. She wants to get famous, and guess what? I looked her up today.
Yeah.
So everyone on Earth is looking her up. Look at those lips. If
you
she
looked
had a
her-
dick, I would suck it. Oh, wow. That's a compliment.
If you looked her up and
No, I was gonna, but I'm saying, see, these people, they get, you know, they do it on purpose, and it works.
That's where the society's going.
Dude, there was I think at the World Series, girls took their shirts off, and everyone's like, "Oh, what a bunch of sluts!" We all looked them up, and
They made a lot of money.
they're not doing rustic furniture.
Non-perishable foods. You won't lose tap water or the use of your freezer and fridge, but stretch your available food supplies by stocking up on healthy non-perishables. See, that's a long sentence to say. They could have said that in 3 or 4 words. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you hate those long sentences.
Well, they could just edit themselves. Supplied stocking up on healthy non-perishables such as canned tuna, broth, and tomatoes. Shelf-stable milk, dried beans, and pasta and grains. And don't forget your pets. Aren't the pets spreading it too? Didn't they say pets?
I don't know about that.
This guy's over there. He's self-quarantining over there.
Darren keeps on coughing.
because
Darren just came from an airplane on the road as a comedian.
now we're all turning at each other. You have a runny nose.
Oh,
You've got
You
saliva.
use your finger on your own nose.
You've got
hold
poop.
on. Wait till I show you the
What the
open.
hell are we doing this podcast for?
I wore a green shirt for St. Patty's Day.
Who wants to see the opened scab wound on my arm? Anybody?
I know. Oh, did
You hurt yourself,
did you
right?
hurt
I
yourself?
I got injured in the shop about 2 weeks ago.
Man, you got to be careful. Those power tools. They'll ruin
Wait
it.
till you see it. Do you want to see it? It's nasty.
Maybe a little bit later.
It's not that nasty, is it? Or is it? I don't know.
No, I'm not. I really. No. You don't, it's all right. I don't want to
It's
see it.
accessible within 1 second. It's on my forearm. It looks like a suicide attempt.
Let's see it.
Show Darren. Darren, then you tell me what it looks like. I don't want to see it.
Oh, it looks like a tattoo.
Any stitches?
It looks like a tattoo.
4.
Yeah.
And I'm white trash. I'm not going to get them taken
wow,
out.
you got to be careful. Wow.
What happens if you don't take them
Oh
out?
no! The new
They'll
stitches
just
I
fade
think
away.
stayed. Yeah, they
No, I was told to go back to the emergency room to have them taken out, and it's 2 reasons. A, it takes time, and B, I don't want to get coronavirus while I'm waiting at the emergency room because people there are going to have it.
Medication. Stock up on pain relievers and other OTC treatments for flu symptoms. More over the counter, I think that means. Over the counter. Yeah, OTC means over the counter.
I never knew that.
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Treatments for flu symptoms. More importantly, request a month's supply of needed prescription medications and consider other pharmacy needs such as diapers, contact lenses, supplies, and feminine products. A lot of this hoarding is going on by women. Guys don't care. All guys need is a place to sleep and a little food, you know. And if they're gonna, It's like the wild, wild west, you know. If you're gonna eat the, if you're gonna go, you're gonna.
I think in the next 30 days, some people are going to gain a bunch of weight. Some people are going to lose some bunch of weight. You know, it's your call.
Well, thank you, Darren.
You're welcome.
Disinfectant. The coronavirus can live for several days on hard surfaces, so make a routine of using a disinfectant to wipe down countertops, faucets, doorknobs, light switches, phones, etc. Lysol on paper towels will work, so does a cloth dampened with a mix of a quarter cup of bleach to a half a cup of water. Darren, you missed the car news. Or maybe you missed. Did you miss? You missed the car news. That's all right. We're almost done here with the items of interest. The guy running Twitter, nobody likes him on Wall Street. He likes doing yoga and going on his business and enjoying his life, and they want somebody that they can control, and so that's going on. A full-scale Hollywood studio backed by $1.75 billion is betting on shows designed to be watched on a phone for 10 minutes or less, said David so-and-so and so-and-so and so. It's called Quibis, Quibis.
You don't really like that idea, Brian?
QB.
They'll just go on. Wouldn't people just go on YouTube or something?
175 planned shows starting next month encompasses unscripted series, talk shows, sports, news, and movies split up into bite-sized chapters. Quibi, Quibi. The name is short for Quick Bites or Quick Bits. Has signed on a raft of major Hollywood names to act and direct, including Steven Spielberg, Reese Witherspoon, Kevin Hart, and Jennifer Lopez. I hope she's going to put on some clothes. Quibi uses a technology called Turnstile to seamlessly switch between horizontal and vertical versions of a show. Each show will be shot in both orientations. Turning the phone could even provide additional camera angles. You know about this, Redban?
Yeah, here it is. It is kind of cool, like the idea if you turn it to the side or to the front, it changes like the whole video kind of. So that is cool. They definitely have some good names, but this is a pay-per-view type situation, and when you have free YouTube, no, this is never going to work. This is dumb.
So somebody's wasting a lot of money. $100.75 billion.
I love that technology though, because don't you hate when you? I don't know if you guys have ever done this. You shoot something in an IG story, and then when you try to add it to something else, like YouTube, or it's super small, and you got to like change the dimensions and zoom in, and it would be great if you could if it would fit everywhere. You know.
And the former, the lady who's running Hewlett Packard, Meg Whitman is running this.
They were shooting stand-up comedy shows at the Hollywood Improv for Quibi. Do you guys know about that? It was supposed to be like current events, or
Disney.
If you did stand-up on like current events or something like that.
Disney chairman Jeffrey Katzenberg is in on it too. Somebody's going to lose their shirt, huh, Redban?
I just can't believe they would ever think this would work. Especially when, if this was free, I still don't think it would have worked. Like, just because you can't really beat YouTube, you can't really beat Netflix, and like, look at these shows. Like, who wants to watch a fucking show on?
Now,
the
who
phone?
owns Netflix now? They owned by their own people? Is that their own company?
Yeah. I think
who's going to buy that? Who's going to scoop Netflix up? I
don't think anyone could buy Netflix, right?
Okay, so what you just said about YouTube, do you think the only way that these other companies will win is if they like somehow kill YouTube? Because otherwise they're like, our businesses aren't growing. We got to get rid of this free YouTube thing.
I just think nowadays it's almost impossible. Like, look at that was that Tidal, I think it's called. That it was like the music, like Spotify type thing.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. No one's buying. No one's giving a shit about that. You know, it's just nowadays. If it's not on YouTube, it's not on Netflix. It's kind of like it's almost impossible.
Because I love looking up stuff. Like if you want to, like, what was it like when the Beatles first did, the Ed Sullivan show? It'll be on YouTube. Like anything you could think of.
Anything. How to fix stuff. How to fix anything.
Love it.
Anything.
It's great, right? Like even something you're like, how do I historical things?
There's somebody out there that's doing what you're doing or interested in fixing what you have that's broken. It must be real good for your business, too. You can really get your crafty work out there.
I have a YouTube channel, and this is the stupidest thing on earth. I have 5,000 followers. It's me making stuff. But about a year and a half ago, my son was servicing it, and he had to go to summer camp. a.k.a. prison. So we didn't service it for about 6 months. And we forgot how to get into my own YouTube. I don't know what email, what password. And
If you have a Gmail, it's probably your Gmail account.
No, because here's what the few times we've gone to it, it said put in a Google account, and I don't remember ever having one.
Maybe Redban can help you with that after the show.
Yeah, that would be nice. But I do like YouTube. I go to it all the time. I go to the plane crashes just to watch. I go to plane crashes. I go to UFC.
Yeah, I like that. I like that flight channel.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'll just look up crazy. Follow a little 10-minute journey of a plane that flew too high. Or last night was one. A whole jet went down because the pilot put his 13-year-old son in the seat, and when stuff got funky, the G's was so the kid couldn't get out of the seat because the plane was at some crazy angle.
You ever see this? This is flightradar24.com. And this is really cool. Like, if you're ever somewhere and you're like, what is this helicopter that's just going over my house over and over again?
Yeah.
And it'll tell you, like, you can click on any of these planes or helicopters, and it'll show you, like what it is. Like, this is going to Santa Monica or whatever. You can see the path.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, so look at this one.
Wow.
This is going in circles, this little plane. I don't know why.
What about Kobe? Did you look up that Kobe?
Yeah, you could look at the Kobe flight on this.
Wow.
Has it come out? What happened to Kobe? Has it come out?
Pilot error.
It is pilot error. And watch this. I have a question. Did they go down knowing, like, for X amount of seconds they were going down, or did they hit a mountain?
High-speed impact. They didn't know what hit them.
Oh, that obviously that would be better. Oh, they went right into a mountain. They were like too low.
Not even a mountain, just a hill. There's like
that's
hills
what I
up
mean. The
in
hill was really low.
Casablanca. Yeah, he was so low that the air traffic controller couldn't even follow him. What they call sometimes the pilot will ask the tower to help them out, and they were too low to be.
You understood. He couldn't even find him. Yeah.
It was total pilot. He had no business.
Now watch this. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a Flight 990 about 10, 12 years ago. A pilot, he left New York, and he committed suicide right off of Boston or like right. I don't know if you remember this. And he had a full thing of people, and the guy and I don't know if you remember his flight pattern. Do you remember the flight pattern?
Was it the employee, the disgruntled employee?
No. This one was a pilot, an Indian guy that wanted to commit suicide, and they left New York, and they went down right outside of Boston, and the flight pattern was JFK to JFK Jr. Hey-oh! That was a long way to go.
That was.
It's a true story, though. Flight 990, Google it. And Flight 800 off of Santa Mauritius, TWA, broke right in half. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Right off the coast.
My cousin, Anthony Diresta, was the head of the state troopers on Long Island, Nassau and Suffolk. He watched a beam of light go up and right through that airplane from his home, and he was never interviewed.
Yeah, that was
That was sketchy.
That was real sketchy.
And that plane,
747s don't explode.
that
in
plane
midair.
climbed with no nose. Imagine you were sitting in the front seat and you're like, "Whoa, convertible."
747 has like so many backup systems, and what they told us was that there was fumes in the fuel tank. Where else would fumes be but in the fuel tank? It was just I'm going to mispronounce this word. Ludicrous.
Ludicrous.
It was just ludicrous. Of course there are fumes in the gas tank. That's where fumes should be, in the gas tank. And another thing, what was the other thing? Now I forget.
The pilot was adopted.
I had 3 jokes. I let them go.
You can't be a pilot if you're adopted.
Who's going to trust you?
Who's going to try?
Who's going to want to?
Who's going to want to hang out with you?
You got to be an identifiable person, with a personality and everything.
Have a soul.
What was I going to say about Flight 800? It was just, oh, yes. Since when would the CIA get involved in a plane crash?
Oh, they did?
Remember they put the diagrams on the news? This is the CIA reenactment of what happened.
To try and convince you.
It's just people told them what they saw, and they told them, no, you didn't see that. You didn't see that.
Do you remember Dr. Dirty, John Valby, in New York, or you left too early? He played the piano and he sang really dirty songs. And I was almost he's a comedian and played the piano and played very dirty, song parodies. And I was almost in a plane crash. And instead of saying my prayers, I just sang his songs to myself over and over and over. And that story would have been funny if you knew who he was.
Right. The private space company Axiom has forged a partnership with SpaceX to fly paying tourists to the International Space Station for 10-day trips as soon as the second half of next year. Said so-and-so and so-and-so. Axiom, the company that NASA choose to provide a commercial destination module, essentially a space hotel attached to the space station. SpaceX will ferry 3 tourists at a time and an Axiom staff member, taking 1 day to reach the station and 1 day to return. Axiom has previously put the price of a ticket at $55 million. Wow. NASA will get only a very small fraction of that, $35,000 a night for each visitor. A key job of the staff members making sure that the space tourists don't interfere with the NASA crew members doing their job. Wow. So that's pretty interesting. And we lost, what's his name? James Lipton, Redban.
Oh, yeah, James Lipton.
94 years old.
Really? I never knew he was that old.
And he was cool. I liked him.
Looks like my dad.
A lot of people made fun of him, gave him a hard time. But, he was interviewing the actors and the actresses, and he wanted to get to the point. If you don't want to listen to the way he interviews the actresses and actresses, turn the channel. That was his style. So he's dead. Nobody seemed to care more about what actors had to say than James Lipton. As the longtime host of the Bravo show Inside the Actors Studios, Lipton interviewed Hollywood stars with a candor that endured him to devoted fans, even as he drew eye-rolling from critics who found him pompous and another big ass.
He's the ultimate in like a guy that wants to still hang around, maybe. I don't know. But his show was interesting.
Well, you got to give him credit for getting the show.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
a highly respected show.
And I won't go into more of his biography, but he was...
he was a pillow biter?
He was a real smart guy. He could have been that.
Dude, that dyed hair. Come on. Come on, Bobby. You know what I mean?
That's an imitation, right? Who's that? Is that Will Ferrell or
That's
somebody?
Will Ferrell. It's fantastic.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, Will Ferrell did.
Is here with us tonight. Please welcome the wonderful, incomparable Drew Barrymore.
So we lost him. He was a good one.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
I saw him once on the Upper East Side, and I just said, "Oh, I like your work." That was when he was alive.
Did he kiss you?
Wolf.
He tried to ask about Darren Carter. All right, this is the last of the items of interest, and then we're going to get to John's unique story. I can't wait to just take it right from the beginning.
Okay.
And your development, because it is.
I'm in a movie with her.
What movie?
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh, cool.
Man, you got a great agent.
She knows I'm funny, too. She leaned back and gave me a look like, okay.
I like Drew Barrymore.
No, that's what's her name? Kate Hudson, I think, playing Drew Barrymore.
Oh.
What's
Yeah,
up,
you're right.
fucker?
You're right.
See that?
You don't miss a trick.
I don't miss a trick.
A sense of duty.
I like Drew Barrymore, too. If she had a dick, I would suck it.
A sense of duty is useful in work, but offensive in personal relations. I like nonsense. It wakes up the brain cells. Dr. Seuss. The only sense that is common is the long run, in the sense of change, and we all instinctively avoid it. It's a good one.
Deep.
The past is always trickling under the soil, a slow leak you can't trace. Wow.
Say that one more time.
The past is always trickling under the soil, a slow leak you can't trace. Is that bring up some pain for you?
Yeah.
It takes all the running you can do to keep in the same place. Man is the only animal that can remain on friendly terms with the victims he intends to eat until he eats them.
Oh, it sounds kind of mean, huh?
Well,
Like if you're taking care of a cow and then...
people love meat.
That's true.
They love
I saw videos of
We just had hamburgers.
Wu-Tang.
No, exactly. It wasn't my pet, though.
Anyone see the videos of the meat market in Wu-Tang, wherever this disease came from? What's it called?
Wuhan, China, I believe.
Have you seen the video?
No.
There's a video running online of that open market with bats on a stick, snake meat, dogs being cooked with blow torches. It's brutal.
It's horrible.
And none of the meat, did you see it? None of the meat is on ice. There's like chopped up boa constrictors just like with flies on them.
China's gross.
Can you pull up, if you can, Hungry Monkeys? Somebody told me about this. They had a lot of tourists in Thailand, and then they all went away. So nobody's feeding the monkeys now. And this video will show us what's happening.
Woof. That's North Hollywood. That's where I live.
Wow, there's just monkeys just roaming.
Well, they're pissed off and they're hungry. There are no tourists feeding them bananas.
Oh, so they're just like mingling with the public.
Freaking out.
No, they're freaking out. They're hungry as hell, and they want to know where the tourists are with the bananas.
That's Vineland and Lancashire. That's Vineland and Burbank.
Whoa.
This is
Whoa, and then they're starting to fight each other right there.
This is
Wow.
well,
It's like a riot.
They're fighting over a piece of food.
Wow.
So I haven't seen this yet, Brian. Thanks for bringing it up.
Is this the Laugh Factory on Christmas Day?
They told me about this.
The Laugh Factory on Christmas Day.
Buddy, I told you to walk the line. Buddy.
Believing in progress does not mean believing that any progress has yet been made. What do you think about that one, Darren?
I gotta hear it one more time so I can really comprehend it. Believing in progress.
Believing in adoption does not mean...
There you go. Yoink.
Believing in progress does not mean believing in any progress has yet been made. One more time.
Believing in progress does not believe that not any
Believing in
has
progress does not mean believing that any progress has yet been made. Kind of a tough one. That's it. That's it, John. It's over.
Okay.
You want to pull up my elephant photographs from
yeah.
Thailand?
Why is he looking up Annie? What does that have to do with anything? I'm just kidding. I know exactly what that means. It's a redheaded foster kid. Dude, that was me, dude. That was me. Red hair and adopted and a foster kid.
If you need anything, Darren, you know I'll
good,
find
man.
somebody who can help you.
Thank you. No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
I gotta find.
You know what's funny? I'll tell you one thing though. They did have. I remember when they had that therapist at the. I don't know if you know about this. There was a free therapist that would psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever.
From the Comedy Store?
Yeah, yeah. Or was it the Comedy Store? I don't know.
I think it was the Laugh Factory.
The Laugh Factory, right? And I remember this. I'll never forget. They asked. They did a whole news story about it. And did you ever visit that therapist? I feel like there's a deeper story.
No,
here.
She wouldn't have Brian.
She wouldn't accept him.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't get paid enough for this shit. Yeah.
And you even told Jamie and still wouldn't do it.
Buddy, come on, buddy. You take up the whole couch all time every week.
I told you to walk the
Oh,
line.
there it is. This is.
But let me tell you,
Thailand.
I'm gonna. I thought this was interesting. They asked Paul Rodriguez, they asked the different people about the therapist real quick, and Paul Rodriguez goes, we don't need therapy, we need jobs. And I thought there's a lot to that,
All right, John. Now tell us now.
Go ahead.
Tell us about the job. You were a transit police.
I took the police exam in Long Island. You know what I mean? I know you left a little bit earlier than me.
What
but,
year was that?
I took the exam in 84, 85.
Okay.
I got hired July of 86. I stood on a line with 2,900 other men and women that passed the test, and you went down for your assignment. In other words, I don't know if you remember, there was the NYPD, transit in the subway, and housing that worked in the ghetto. They were called ghetto guards. And for every 10 cops that were hired out of this 2,900 of us that passed everything, 7 went to NYPD, 2 went to transit, 1 went to housing. And they said, and all the guys in front of me in line, alphabetical order, Diaz, you're NYPD. Dietrich, you're NYPD. Diresta. Oh, you got to go to the 3rd floor. I go, for what? Guy goes, I don't know. But he knew. When I got off the elevator, they said, welcome to the New York City Transit Police. Take a seat or sign that paper and leave like everybody else does. You put in all this effort to become a New York City cop, and you get put in a police department that you don't want to be in. But
now, did you know that going in?
No, that's what I'm saying. I found out. Oh, I knew. Yeah, we all knew, but nobody thought the odds were against it. But you can roll over. In other words, you take the transit police, but then you have to take the test, the medical, you have to take everything over, and hopefully you get NYPD on the next one. Does that make sense? In other words, it goes toward if you work 3 years as a transit cop
you
and
can,
roll over to the
lateral
NY, you
move.
could lateral. Right, okay. So I got hired in 86. I went into the New York City Police Academy.
Were you single or married?
Oh, I was totally single.
Okay.
I was living, and I lived in the 5 towns.
And when did you start doing comedy?
Okay, I was a New York City transit cop for about 2 years, and I was working with a female cop named Joanne. You have to meet my sister, you have to meet my sister, you have to meet my sister. And it was a blind date, but this is the worst part. It was a whole weekend. In other words, we were all going skiing as cops, and she was bringing her sister to meet me, and I was going to meet her. I did see a picture of her, and I liked the way she looked. She had red hair, big boobs. She had the shoulder.
Is this your wife?
That's my wife now.
Okay.
So we went on the ski trip, and we got along that weekend, and we've been together ever since.
Wow.
So 9 months later, we got married about 6 months later. Then we had a son and a daughter right in a row. I was 27 years old. I was working on the homeless outreach bus with just homeless people. I wasn't in uniform anymore. I was a cop, but all we did was help homeless people. You know what I mean? Take them out of the subway, take them to shelter, social work.
And did you ever work in the subway transit?
I worked 5 years in the subway uniform.
And what shift? What shift were you on?
I worked midnight to 8 in the morning as a transit cop in uniform.
Yikes.
And alone with a radio that might work if you're lucky.
The reception, right?
And I'm from Long Island. I don't know how to fight. The first time I was ever in the subway of New York, I was in a police uniform. Thank God I know Jewish karate. You know what Jewish karate is?
What?
Don't hit me. My dad's a lawyer. Fuck you.
So
Hey, tell him what you would say, though. He'd get his lunch break or whatever, like at 3 a.m. That's your lunch break. And he would just pop up out of the surface, wherever, oh, my break, it's 3:05.
You had to ride the train. As a rookie, you don't stand on the stations. You ride the subway train. You got to ride the train. That's your post. And what Darren's talking about is all of a sudden, if my lunch was at 3 a.m. and the stop you pulled in at 3 a.m. was in the middle of Bedford-Stuyvesant or in the Bronx, you went upstairs and it was leveled buildings and stray
you
dogs.
had a firearm?
I had a firearm. Yeah. I had a 38 or a revolver. You know what I mean? And by the end of my career, it was so rusted shut, I would have to throw it at a perpetrator, try and catch him in the ankle.
Tell him what you would do for the lunch. Remember where you said you'd go, like in the subway?
You just go to you go upstairs and there's no stores. There's just burnt out buildings and stray dogs and crack addicts. So I would get the key from the token clerk and I would sit in a subway bathroom that hasn't been opened in 30 years and just sit on a milk crate and stare at the wall. No food, no drink.
For 5 years.
I did that for 5 years. Then I got in the homeless unit. Making people laugh on the bus. Our clients, as we called them. Making people laugh on the bus, clients every night, like an Uber for homeless people. And my partner, Mike Venkus, said, look, here's a thing in the newspaper. It's a comedy school. You should at least try it. And I was like, because I always want to be a comedian, but all of a sudden now I'm like, oh, there's like an outlet. There's a place to go where someone is like-minded. I drove home. I woke up my wife. I got off at 8 in the morning. It was 9 a.m. She had a crying baby in each arm, like a 6-week-old and a 1-year-old.
Right.
And I said, I want to be a comedian. I said, I'm going to take a class. I'm going to start. It may take 10 years to make one dime. I thought 10 years to make a dollar. And there was a long pause, and she said, I'll support you, but I want another baby.
Wow.
She liked being pregnant. So she got pregnant with the third one. I took a comedy class, and within 6 months, I started. I was 27 years old, 1993. Now I started doing open mics, and I'm like, whoa, this is fun. Oh, I could change this joke. And I walked into a comedy club and early for an open mic, and the guy looks at me. He's on the phone. He goes, he's Chris Mazzilli. He now owns Gotham. He says to me, you open tomorrow night? And no one has ever said that to me, ever, at this point. I go, yeah. He goes, you want to do a gig in the Bronx? It pays $80. You do 15 minutes.
And what year was that?
That was like 93, spring of 93. Do you want to do 15 minutes and make $80. And I said, dude, I will be there early. I get to a Knights of Columbus in Throgs Neck. There's nowhere to park. You know it's going to be a great show. Cars are parked on top of each other. There's about 300 people. They introduced me. He's John Diresta. They might have said my first paid gig.
Right.
I'm not up there 10 seconds, and a guy walks by with a tray of beer, and he looks just like the guy from Lenny and Squiggy, the blonde one. But I didn't know which was which. You remember that show?
Yeah, hello.
Laverne and Shirley.
Right.
Hello.
McKeon is his name, something?
Right.
I don't think I even said a word. Just as I stepped to the mic, he walked right by me, so I knew. Oh, I said, hey, plenty of parking. Thanks for the gig. Plenty of parking. I got parked in Queens and walked back across the Throgs Neck Bridge. That got a laugh. I was like, oh, shit, if I had trouble parking, they had trouble parking. The next line was, look at this Lenny and Squiggy-looking motherfucker. Something about just the fact that he looked like Lenny or Squiggy. Huge laugh. The next day, my sergeant in the homeless, and I had no permission for a second job. Sergeant in the homeless outreach pulls me in the office. He says, Diresta, get in the back. I sit down, dead serious. He goes, you did some kind of comedy gig last night, and you got paid for it, and you don't have any paperwork?
Ooh.
I go, I didn't answer. He leans in and goes, that was my brother-in-law. That's the funniest goddamn shit I ever saw in my life.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's
So
awesome.
that kicked off the career.
Wow. That's cool.
so you primarily did clubs in Manhattan
In Manhattan and starting the
Brooklyn,
road, Jersey,
Queens.
Long Island, Governors.
while you're still working.
Well, I worked as a cop. Watch this. I was very lucky. I went on duty at 9:30 at night. So I would hit a club in Brooklyn. I would hit a club in the Bronx. I would hit a club or open mic at 7 or 8 and just get to work by 9:30. And then, watch this. We were in an unmarked van or bus, and we were in plain clothes. All we did was pick up bums and take them to the shelter. So guess what we did between calls? We parked in front of Caroline's. We parked in front of the Comedy Cellar. We drove Dave Attell to gigs. We drove Mulrooney to gigs. And I said,
I know.
and I
he's
said,
a good friend of mine, John.
if the sergeant pulls us over, you got to tell him you're homeless. Yeah, no problem.
Now, the homeless people got on the bus. The ones that wanted to get on the bus got on the bus, and the ones who didn't want to get on the bus, they
It was
didn't
all
have-
voluntary. There was no. It was very like a feel good thing. And one of the guys in the unit, a Spanish cop, Puerto Rican, he used to fuck the female homeless people.
Right.
He used to say, "You never know what's under those 9 ski coats."
It's like that movie, Mother Jugs and Speed.
Yeah, I
Larry
remember that movie.
Hagman is jumping in the ambulance, having sex with the patients.
I remember that movie as a kid.
It's a very funny with Bill Cosby. It's a pretty good movie. I liked it.
By the way, I have to say this real quick. That photo was up there. It took me about 30 seconds to realize that is you laying on the ground with an elephant about to step on you.
Yeah, why was it jacking you off? What's going on here?
That's the hand job. Show him the one with the blow job.
You know who you look like? The guy from War Dogs.
There's the blow job.
Oh, fucking hell.
Why do they do that? It's like a joke or something? It's like so weird.
Is that in Wantor?
Well, no, that's in Thailand. It's
Weren't you afraid the elephant was going to step on you or something? I mean, is that kind of the goof of it?
They picked me out of the
Oh, wow.
crowd.
Look
and
at that zip ahead.
And I just did it. I just did
Peer
it,
pressure,
Darren.
peer pressure.
Saturday Night Fever with the haircut.
So, fast forward to
I did a one-man show. I was a stand-up comedian about
did
5
they-
or 6
how did
years.
they
I did a
bring you
one-man.
out?
I did a one-man show on 42nd Street, financed by an entertainment company that said, "Hey, look, you're a transit cop. You know, it's supposed to be the greatest thing to have benefits and have a real job. But my whole act was about now I'm stuck with 3 kids. That sucks. Being married sucks. Having a steady, being a cop, everyone thinks is great. That sucks." And we did a one-man show, and Disney bought the rights to turn it into a sitcom. And that's what got me out of here.
how many minutes was your one-man show?
It was about 1 hour and 5, 1 hour and 10 with bigger laughs. It's a good question.
And Disneyland, Disney.
Disney gives me a sitcom, but watch this. About 6 months into the sitcom.
What year is this now? When
It's
Disney?
98.
I'm just
6 months into the TV deal, I remained a cop. I was in the newspapers. I was quasi-famous. I had money in the bank. All the cops hated me because now I was like, I went from being an open mic where they're like, yeah, you're sure right. All of a sudden, 5 years later, I have my bills paid. I got money in the bank. I'm in the newspaper. And Tom Schneider would have me on every
The
8.
talk show
Remember
guy?
Tom Schneider?
Oh,
I like
he
that
loved me.
show. I like that.
I was on
greatest.
4 times.
Wasn't he the greatest?
He's the greatest. And, dude, he loved me. I would go from a shift as a New York City transit cop, get on a plane, do his show, and come back and do the next shift.
Wow.
He'd say, "Sit back and let the pictures fly through the air." Remember, that's what he used to say.
I don't know, but I never saw, when you get in real life, you never saw someone with so much makeup in your life. But we would do, like, he'd have Tanya Tucker, like, semi-sexy, and then I'd come in next, and he'd be
So they gave you a development deal.
Gave
I
me
guess.
a development deal, big check, and then all of a sudden, my idea got sold. I went from being with Disney to Paramount and UPN. Remember that network that nobody watched, UPN?
Right. Yeah, it's no longer with us.
No longer. So the show got on at UPN.
Look. You were on episode 1,200.
No. That's Renee Diresta. That's not me.
But his brother is Jimmy
Thank you,
Diresta.
Redban.
Hold on. I'll get you a good one. Put in talk shows. John Diresta talk shows.
John Diresta.
John Diresta talk shows. Okay, watch
That's
this.
Joe Diresta. That's John.
All right,
John
Howard Stern.
You knew I don't know how to read. Redban.
Tonight Show. John Diresta talk shows.
It says Joe Diresta. Yeah, John.
Joe is my dad.
So you moved the family.
Moved the wife and kids, and UPN. We did.
You gave notice to the police department.
I resigned in March of '98.
98.
March of '98. Yeah, there's a good thing. Talk shows. It shows me with Stern. It shows me with Jay Leno. I don't know why it's not coming up.
It's so that's great. You
might say talk show reel.
On YouTube or just on Google?
No, it's on YouTube, I think.
So how many episodes was
17.
Oh, that's
and then
that's more than a season, or is that?
Yeah, no, it was like 22 at the time. And then I got into a movie called 15 Minutes. Did you ever see 15 Minutes with Robert De Niro? Two Russian guys come to America.
Vaguely.
And then Miss Congeniality 1 and 2. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. And then
so how many movies you been in?
I've been in about 15 movies, and I had 3 fix-it shows. 3 fix-it shows.
What does that mean?
You know, like cable shows where you build shit and make stuff.
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah, dude, it's not coming up. I don't know why.
We're going to build this table and all that kind
of stuff.
building
shit. I had one on HGTV, one on Discovery, and one on...
Now, when you did your YouTube with the woodworking, what was the typical...
Here you go.
How is it? What was the typical length of an episode on your YouTube channel?
Oh, just like 8-10 minutes.
Yeah, because it's easy to upload.
Yeah.
The shorter it is, the easier it is to get it there and then keep people's attention, perhaps.
Yeah, so this is, you can fast forward a little. This is like, hard copy, doing a story about John Diresta. Hey-oh.
There you are.
Totally different.
6-7 years into it. You know, it's Lincoln's birthday, Groundhog's Day, Secretary's...
Letting people in the subway for free, for no reason.
I'd hold the doors open. I could care less.
You're a little bit heavier there. How much more do you think you weighed?
I probably weighed about 260. Now I'm about 205. I had more chins than a Chinese phone book.
Oh!
Jay Leno. Jay Leno.
Politically incorrect. Howard Stern.
Oh, I actually remember you on Stern now.
I got to judge the girls.
Yep, I remember
Thanks,
this.
dude. See that? This was a memorable spot.
I remember that. I used to be a huge Stern fan.
I still am.
I used to listen to it when it was on free
Watch.
free
Holster
radio.
that weapon. Look, she has a big nose. Watch. Turn it up.
Killer body, right?
Watch.
But what do you think? But not good enough for Penthouse, right? Go ahead. It's her nose. She needs a nose job, right?
Holster that weapon.
How cool is that?
Wow.
And you got married when you were 14?
I didn't have to.
Watch
she
this.
got married at 14, didn't have her first kid till she was 16.
Wow, you are from the backwoods, huh?
Who's your husband, Jerry Lee Lewis?
Yeah.
Fucking Howard Stern loved me. I think I could have been his sidekick if I stayed in New York.
Come on.
Now, how did you adjust to the show after the show? Because a lot of comedians will get completely devastated when their show goes south.
Well,
you know what I mean?
sitcom was so low rated on UPN that I kind of knew it was coming. However, I didn't save the money. You know what I mean? I thought, like, because I got into a movie with De Niro, I did The Tonight Show. I'm like, I made it. You know what I mean? My name is out there. Everyone knows I'm the schmucky New York guy with no neck. You know what I mean? I'm the fucking douchebag. I'm Tom Arnold with a New York accent. And I thought the money was going to last forever and ever and ever. And right around 9/11, the phone stopped ringing. And I went belly up financially.
And now you're doing podcasts with adopted kids.
Yo.
And then, no, but...
It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle.
But you didn't lose it. Some people, they just lose it. They move out of town. They get crazy.
Yeah, no. I didn't turn to drugs or alcohol. And you got to remember, I had for 3 or 4 years, I was the guy that, like my kids, like I used to get notes home from substitute teachers. hey, I'm also a comedian. I know you're the John Diresta guy from the sitcom. If you ever need an opener. You know what I mean? Like, my kids were like, though, that's John Diresta's son. Dude, within 4 years of living here, my kids were on the fucking welfare line with free food. I went completely broke. You know, like with the food stamp line.
Yeah, one time you told me, you said, you get this show, and then the show goes away, and those people all move on to other jobs.
Everyone moves on to another job except
and now
the
you're
star.
no pension, no nothing, and you're just like, okay.
They do.
Everyone moves on. The cameraman, the this, the that, the sound, the writers, everyone, and you're left in a lurch. You're at the Ha-Ha teaching classes.
So what about the wife? You never put the wife to work?
She's a career woman. She works at Goodwill.
Oh, that's good then. So then you don't have to work. You just
No, she don't make that much money.
you do your woodworking and your comedy and.
It's been tough, dude.
So did you get new representation?
No, I'm like now I have an agent that I see and never even see her. She sends me on one audition every 6 months, and I have no comedy manager. I need a comedy manager.
Right.
There's the sitcom, upper right.
Yeah.
And what was that about?
Me as a transit cop, and it was completely horribly written. The most stale shit you ever saw. It was embarrassing.
Rubber guns.
It was like Charles in Charge with rubber guns. But watch this. I don't want to be all negative. I earned a pension from the Screen Actors Guild. I started collecting when I was 55 years old, July 23rd of this past summer.
So you got enough credits. That's good.
No. You have to make 20 grand. For every year in SAG you make 20 grand, you get like a point. So I had like 8 or 10 years where I made more than 20 grand.
Wow.
So I got a pension.
That's good.
But
medical too?
No.
No medical?
No. So, and the pension isn't that big. When you hear, the word pension, you think that I can kick my feet back and move to Florida? No. When it comes in on the 31st of the month, I could pay a couple bills. You know what I mean? It's not as much as I would like.
Right.
And I've been doing the stand-up. I was in at all the clubs, and somehow it dried up. I was in at the Laugh Factory. I was in at all of them. And it just, some little by little, it just seemed to dry up, and I don't know why. And it makes me sad.
Well, they like youth.
Is that what it is?
I have a feeling, they like youth, don't they, Darren? Don't you think?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that today when I was on TikTok. How they like me and my young friends. We're just out there, TikToking out there. Yeah, they do like youth. They like youth, and that's why I think it's good that we do stuff like this. We do podcasting and things on YouTube and put yourself out there. Because otherwise, if you're just waiting for someone else to give us a gig, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I always thought if you showed up on time and you were funny, that was enough, and it's absolutely not. And that was a real heartbreak. That was a real heartbreak.
Can I tell you a little side story that I found this to be unbelievably amazing? John Diresta, so he was the big TV star, movie star. And his brother, you know where I'm going with this, right?
Sure.
His brother was like a sidekick kind of guy, I guess. And
well, let me explain, and then I'll go back to you. Yeah. We had all three of my woodworking shows. My brother was my partner. So he was the smart, hip. He's way smarter than me. And he dated exotic girls from other countries. And we look alike and sound alike. And I was the schmucky asshole that got married and pumped out 3 kids. And you know what I mean? That's always chasing, trying to pay the bills. I was the every guy. Right. And my brother was the hip. And but
the player,
but he was the player. However, I was still the guy that was in Miss Congeniality, Robert De Niro, Tonight Show, and now my brother went to YouTube fully. You take over.
Listen to this, Redban. His brother took over. He got on started woodworking on YouTube, building up his following
on his own.
His brother's got like 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube. Like
now, what is
my
that?
brother makes a living by building stuff
if you
on.
Look up Jimmy Diresta.
Jimmy Diresta. So now he's way more famous than me.
Is he doing woodworking too?
Well, he could build a motorcycle, a house, metal, steel, welding. He does personal appearances.
1.7 million subscribers.
So that's how much do you think? I don't want to get into his financial business.
He makes $200-300 grand a year.
Just on the podcast?
No, because he does personal appearances, he does speeches. Like it's multifaceted. Like he could build a guitar. All I do is build tables.
No, I really like handy.
Holy shit! I've actually seen this video before.
Yeah, that's my brother.
Wow.
Now what happens to me? Once a week, I'm at Home Depot and someone walks up and goes, "Oh my God, I thought you lived in New York. I love your videos. My wife hates you because all I do is watch your videos. My wife hates you." and I have to go, I'm not him.
Wow, what a handy guy. Tell us where they can find him. He's
Jimmy Diresta is on YouTube, and the guy owes him $6,000 for that guitar. He never paid him.
Wow. By the way, his brother's so cool. Like
he delivered it and it hasn't been paid for?
Very nice
Or
guy.
he's still holding on
No,
to
he
it?
delivered it. It's like a semi-famous rock star. I don't know the guy's name.
I like handy people. I like people that can just be handy.
Wow.
I mean, being handy is just it's great. And the woodworking is just got to be right. Or else you have a pile of wood that nobody can use because you just didn't make it right. You know, it's a great.
And that's it. Other than that, I'm looking for a comedy manager. Any ideas?
No, I don't know. I think there's a lot of them out there, aren't there?
I don't know. What's your take on the whole manager thing, Redban? Like,
I've never had one.
do you feel? I feel like it has to be a good one that's actually doing something for you. Otherwise, you're
just giving money and wasting your time.
Yeah, you're putting your hopes and dreams into this person's hands, and you might not. And then after maybe a year or longer, you're just like, I'm paying.
You know
them
what
for,
the
what
problem
are they doing?
is? If somebody got an agent or a manager, and that agent and manager was no longer interested in you, in a perfect world, they'd call you up and say, "I have to let you go."
Right.
But sometimes they'll hang on to you. Well, they're not doing anything for you.
Yeah, they don't.
And that's the rub.
They
That's
don't
the
return
rub.
phone calls.
You know, they don't break up with you. You have to break up with them.
Yeah.
They'll just, because they're just waiting for something to pop or something to hit the wall. So it's kind of frustrating. And this whole thing is frustrating, this coronavirus and everybody being quarantined. It's surreal.
It's a very weird time. It's a very unusual time.
It's going to be
But thank you for having me today. This was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking forward to this. I was like, I don't really know what's going on. You know,
I want to thank you both for coming out in public and doing this.
Thank you.
Redban, you too as well. And very interesting story.
Redban, are you scheduling like things, or do you just taking it one day at a time, or?
One day at a time. Yeah, like today I have 3 podcasts.
Oh, that's
to
good.
do.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Who's on next?
Next we have Brothers in Cursive, which I usually do Wednesday, but they want to do it right after this. And then I'm doing Bobby Lee's Brothers podcast tonight. I have to go to Hollywood and do that tonight.
Wow, you're busy.
Because it's really, for me, it's kind of weird when you look at the calendar and you're like, okay, I don't want to think about it, because then you start getting, like you said, sad. So I'm just like, all right, just one day at a time, hang with the family.
We're in survival mode. Me and my wife and kids, complete survival mode. It's like me and my wife, literally, when we lay down at night, we're like, all right, we made it another day. It's that bad.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
So, last word, anything you want to say or promote or anything you want to tell us before?
Well, I mean, I have a podcast called Diresta the Story, which I don't really service, but I should now from here on in. I have gotten some wood gigs from his podcast.
Pocket Party. By the way, he's been on the Pocket Party podcast like 7 or 8 times. Every time he comes on,
you want to
different
promote where
stories.
people
Yeah, that's
can
what I'm saying.
buy your
Diresta,
furniture?
Diresta West Coast, Diresta, Diresta West Coast on Facebook, and then at Diresta West Coast on Instagram. I custom make. I come to you to design. We build together.
And you just gave up on Twitter.
It's funny that you say that. Yeah, I used to do it, and I don't even know my secret code to get in. It was like, how many of these things can I do? So I'm Instagram and Facebook. I don't do Twitter.
Do you do decks?
I could. Do you need a deck?
I got termite problem, so the deck is going to need to be replaced, and I want it to be replaced with that Rex, the wood that the termites can't eat.
Okay.
What's it called? True X?
I'm not sure. Where do you live? What part of town?
I live over near the South Bay.
Oh, no shit. You come all the way up here to do this?
Yeah, there was no traffic today with the quarantine. It was smooth sailing. But we'll talk afterwards.
Yeah, okay. And thank you for having me. And thanks for the...
No problem. Anytime.
Thanks for the hamburger. And can I have this pen?
You sure can.
It's Pat Griffin,
Do you want to say anything?
Hey, man, thanks for checking out my YouTube channel. I just put up a video talking about meeting my father. It's all on there. And everybody that watches this, I thank you. And I thank you guys for having me back on. And
no problem. Thanks for listening, everybody. Stay safe, stay clean, and thank you, Redban. See you next time.
Love you guys.
Thank you.